All right, guys, we are live. And I wasn't going to go live during this game because I wanted to enjoy this as a fan. In fact, I was on Big Dog Chico's live stream there for a little bit. And I thought, I'll go live with Big Dog. And then the first three series happened. And it was a little bit crazy. So hang on just a second. Let me add somebody here. What's up, Greg? Can
somebody explain to me what in the Sam Hill's going on in this game? What am I
can explain it to you. I can explain it to you. Do you want to hear the explanation?
All right, I'm listening.
First of all,
my wife says, "Do you want to hear the explanation?" I'm about to hear some things that I don't want to hear, but okay, go ahead.
Hey, look at this, though. Look at this. We finally got the ball to Dallin Hayden. So there we go. We're starting off. So first of all, are you watching on NBC or on Peacock?
Peacock.
Okay, so you're.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. It is NBC. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you're actually ahead of me right now because I'm watching on Peacock, and apparently Peacock has a delay. Are they running the second play yet?
Yes.
Okay,
actually,
yeah.
I'm about to watch. I'm about to see the snap on third down.
Okay, yeah. So you're a down ahead of me.
Okay.
We're gonna have to buffer it just a little bit. No. Let's keep it even because half of the people that are going to be watching this live stream are watching from NBC and half are from Peacock.
It'll be good.
So, yeah, I hope so because I'm watching the second down play and this wasn't good. No. So I'll explain it to you. We came out of the gate with, I'm going to say 6 straight passes, but it actually wasn't 6 straight passes. It was like a pass. It was like 2 passes, then a sack, and then a pass, a sack, and another pass, and then a run on fourth down. And that run on fourth down, I just have a feeling that I'm gonna put some comments in here because we got some people in here.
Okay.
All right. So Jennifer says, "My goodness." Brian C says, "Alpine." Yes. So Alpine has got his hat on backwards right now. And I'm talking in the third person because it's business time at this point. And it looks like we might have maybe caught a small rhythm here.
Yeah. First down's a little frustrating, but
there was no flag on that. Okay.
No flag. He said it's uncatchable.
Yeah. So Jennifer says that this game is not enjoyable. So what I want you guys to do for me, if you will, the people that are in this live stream, if you would let us know if the audio is okay, if it's too loud, not loud enough. I adjusted my mic. I don't know if I've got it. I think I put it on like Barry White mode, possibly. So I want to get my point across on this live stream. So it's not too late. It is absolutely not too late.
And if Colorado can score on this drive, it's going to help a ton. It'll kill some of that Nebraska momentum. Nebraska's living on their momentum right now.
Yeah. So obviously you've been watching this game from the jump, right?
Right.
Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, we didn't change our game plan in the first 2 series at all compared to what we've done all of last year. Is that correct? Just pass it basically?
It looks like that, and I don't want to second guess some of these guys who know what they're doing, and I certainly haven't researched the game that thoroughly, but I'm surprised by some of what I'm seeing there in terms of game plan. I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
it's easy to second guess that stuff, but man,
that's what we're doing here. I mean, that's the whole point of this show is to second guess things. So if we're doing great, then we're telling the coaches that they're doing a great job. If we're not doing great, then we're telling the coaches that we told them what to do and they didn't listen to us. Isn't that the point of the show? Yeah. Isn't that a point of every every football commentative show is that we get the best of both worlds. We get the, hey, you guys are doing a great job, or hey, you guys didn't listen to a very obscure live that we put out about 2 days ago that gave a game plan that we think could have won this game, right? So obviously they see more than we do, and obviously there's a reason why neither one of us are coaches. So
we're just putting too much on the defense right now. I mean, this is way too much pressure on Colorado's defense.
Yeah, I know. And the fact that we haven't made an adjustment from last year. I mean, we're not even talking an adjustment from last game. We're talking an adjustment from last year is a little scary at this point, because I know we want to keep the ball in Shadur's hands because he is our magic man. He's the most reliable player on this team, essentially. Not, Travis Hunter notwithstanding. But at some point, you got to let it go, and you got to try to balance the offense out a little bit. Yeah. They know what we're going to do. They saw it all last year. They game planned against it, and it's working.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that their stinking defensive line, that guy, what is that guy's name? Something, the number 0. I can't remember his name now.
For Nebraska?
Yeah, number 0 for Nebraska. He is a freaking stud, and I talked about him in my last show, but I can't remember his name. It's like something.
Hutmacher?
Yeah, Hutmacher. That's it. Hutmacher. The dude is destroying. He is destroying Zelinkas. Absolutely destroying him. And okay, so out of my mind said my 21-0 was wrong. Yes. I remember you saying that and wanting us to pitch a shutout. This was probably not the game to do that, but there'll maybe be some games in the future that we can look forward to that. Ronald is saying Benson is looking around. Yeah, he's probably trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. Yeah. I mean, our guys are like, wow, this defense is next level, man. They're really pulling out the stops on this. And I understand that, it's going to be hard to run on this defense. I'm not saying that the fact that we're not running the ball is a problem from the standpoint of we would be doing much better if we were running the ball. But they know we're going to pass the ball, and they're shutting that down pretty good. Not to mention that, last year I asked Shadur, I asked him on the show, I asked him to not hold on to the ball longer than 2 to 2.5 seconds because he kept getting sacked.
Yeah.
He is getting sacked in 1.5 seconds now. So, I mean, those 2 sacks, they didn't come from him standing in the pocket too long.
No.
They came from just the fact that our O-line is just absolutely folding like a lawn chair in these cases.
It's frustrating, too, because we had a lot of reason, and we still have reason to be hopeful about this offensive line. But, there was reason good reason to believe that that problem was going to get a lot better. And it may get better, but right now it's not, in this game, it doesn't look good.
Worcester isn't ready for the moment. Pat's offense is predictable. No movement in the run game. I agree. There is absolutely 0 movement in that run game. And then someone even said, Terrell said, Benson was moved the first week of camp. That's not good.
We had to put a guard at tackle. Yeah. You don't want it to move in that direction. You want to move it in the opposite direction. You can put tackles at guard. If you put a guard at tackle, then there's red flags there because there's a reason that he was at guard in the first place.
Yeah, someone says, that we need to get Charlie in the run game going. I mean, our defense is stepping up a little bit here. I agree. The thing I hate about Charlie on that 4th down run is as soon as I was yelling at the TV on 4th down on the second series in the first quarter, don't go for it on 4th down, guys. Let's have some confidence.
Yeah.
In our defense, right?
I agree with that.
Let's not hit the panic button too fast. We haven't been doing anything the first series. And then they put it doesn't matter what running back you put in there. That line was just a wall.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
you
it
got
just happened to
some
be.
downfield blocking.
Yeah.
Big third down here. Ooh, you'll see it.
Yeah, I'm still on second down here.
Yeah.
I wish I had NBC on this TV, but I don't.
Well, I probably need to just shut up, but it's hard, you know. When
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What happened? Did they convert?
Yeah, they did. Nebraska did, but it was close. They hit him before he got to the line of scrimmage, and you're going to see it here in a sec.
Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't close, dude. That was like 3 yards past the.
They had two guys with their
gain.
hands on him before he got to the line to gain, but yeah. I don't know.
I mean, having their hands on him and stopping him are two different things, man. I mean, this is.
I will tell you, the defense is looking better on this drive than they have.
Oh, 100%. I agree. I agree with that completely. And maybe this is where we start to take over the game. We slow them down. You know, I mean, if you look, did you watch the? Sorry, I'm getting stuck on this game.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Iowa State game?
No, I just watched the game cast of it. I saw the plays as they came in, but I didn't watch it live.
Yeah, so Iowa State was down, I think, 13-0, and they came back and won the game against 21-ranked Iowa.
Like the second time they've won in the last,
2 years
or something?
Yeah, but they've won twice in the last 2 years, came from behind.
Yeah.
But you know, so if they can do it, and if NIU can beat Notre Dame, then we can come back on Nebraska from 14 points. So that shouldn't be an issue. Let's see. Out of my mind says one thing this weekend shows is the Big 12 is wide open. This game doesn't mean anything. That's true. OSU barely beat Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I had Arkansas on the money line too. So I was like, I was wringing my hands, man. I was ready to take that payday. Say, Daddy needs a new, like, I don't know, whatever, head for his Bronco.
Who do you think's the favorite to win the Big 12 right now? Like in your mind, who's the favorite?
Utah. I think Utah.
I agree. Yeah.
And Utah had a pretty good win today too. So I should say not a pretty good win, but they won pretty handily.
Yeah. No, they look to be the part so far. Oklahoma State's got a chance for sure. I know they struggled today, but they've looked good. And I think Arkansas is better than people think they are.
So what is that? Francesca Harrison says, get over the run game. We need to get the ball moving. So I understand. There's a lot of people out there that think, you know, we just keep it in Shadur's hand and start throwing the ball around. But what we're talking about, is that Francesca Harrison, is that it's only, we still have like 8 minutes left in the first half, and we can start to slow the ball down. We need to slow it down. Like, we need to keep the ball away from the Nebraska offense, in my opinion. And it's not even really an opinion. It's more of a strategy in football, which is keep the ball out of the opposing offense's hands as much as possible. So that's what we're kind of talking about with running the ball. We're only 2 touchdowns behind, so it's not like we can't score 2 touchdowns easily. We need
the defense to bow up here.
Yeah, if Raiola outplays Shadur Sanders, this will be embarrassing. Well, so far, it looks that way.
Yeah. Yeah, Utah beat Baylor today. It's hard to know how good Baylor is, though.
Well, I mean, Baylor's a fixture. It's not like it's NIU.
Right. Okay.
Ouch. So did they score? Did they score a touchdown?
Yeah. It's 21-0.
Yep. I figured that was probably the case. I saw that catch down on like the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go back and roll this in slow motion, roll this footage and figure out where our coverages are getting blown.
I don't know. We've had a couple of these running back jumps over the entire pile. We've had a couple of those plays on this drive too for short yardage, but
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a really easy time for Colorado to just lose all sense of what needs to happen and just start winging the ball for long yardage plays. And
you got to worry about them maintaining their discipline too when it starts turning into this.
I still think. I mean, you still got 6 minutes left in the first half.
There's
I
plenty
still
of game to
say
play.
I'm gonna throw it out there, dude. All right,
Okay.
You ready for this?
Ready.
I say I hope we practice this because I'm absolutely 100% positive we have not done this. But we need to run a. Hang on a second. Let's see what's going on here.
You talking about the penalty flags? It doesn't end up mattering.
Okay. Let me see something real quick. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Okay, so here it is. So I say from here on out, man, we go 12 personnel. Okay, so we have one running back, we have 2 tight ends. We bring both the tight ends in. We have not practiced this. This is going to absolutely freak everybody out. And so we go down to 2 wide receivers. We have 2 tight ends and we have 1 running back. And we start from absolute scratch right this very minute. Do the opposite. Do the opposite thing that we are doing right now. And that might sound like I'm trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater and giving up on our game plan, but our game plan isn't working. And this is the kind of thing that I've been talking about for a while. And maybe not 2 tight ends, but at least 1 tight end. But I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching on this one, but
yeah, I hate that they scored on that because the defense was playing better on that last drive. And
they did. Yeah, we are definitely getting better on defense, but I think they're also probably getting a little better on offense too.
Yeah.
So they're matching us.
Yeah.
Get your guys moving. John says the interior D-line is awful. They're not looking too good. That is absolute sure. Out of my mind says every team is weaker this year except Georgia and Texas. Man, Texas. Did you see Texas against?
I hate Texas, but man, they look good.
Golly, they look good.
God, it's very frustrating.
And there isn't a team in this land that I hate more than Texas. I hate Texas.
I'm there with you.
I'm a huge Michigan fan too, so this made it all the worse.
Yeah. It's hard to know how far Michigan has dropped off this year. I mean, coming off a national championship, a lot of teams have a down year afterwards.
So look at this comment by the Cape Crusader and tell me what you think.
Yeah, maybe. More I formation, more 2 tight end. That's what you were saying.
Yeah, I think we might actually get stuck in a permanent 4 wide situation.
Yeah. Heck,
we live in 10 personnel, man. That's what we do. We just live there.
Just even pick. I don't know. Go into pistol formation. Do something that.
Yeah, pistol. I would take pistol. I would absolutely take pistol. Anything but what we're doing now, just to show that we have more in our bag of offensive tricks than our standard set. Let's see if Jimmy Horn can get us some more yardage on this one.
Offer Dahl in at running back.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I'm behind. I need to stop talking. But yeah, I think the Caped Crusader, I think you're 100% right. We need to do something. I don't care what it is. Utah has a hurt QB.
I had not seen that. Did their
I didn't either.
Hurt? Hate to see
Utah
that.
didn't show in the second half. So MT says it's over. Do you think it's over, Greg?
No, it's still early enough. There's things that can happen, and Colorado is coming out doing okay on this drive here. So there you go.
Yeah. I'm a play behind, but you know what I'm yelling about.
Yeah, I know, but you're talking about the Offerdahl run, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm talking about the
All right.
Offerdahl run.
We'll keep
And
watching for the next play too.
And that wasn't so much, and maybe I need to look at the replay, but that didn't look like it was so much on Offerdahl as much it was on the offensive line getting some separation there.
Yeah.
But the thing I like about Offerdahl's running is that he knows the game plan and he's going to hit that hole. If you know him the hole, nothing's going to happen. But if you do open that hole, he's going to get some yardage.
Next
All right,
play.
so it looks like we're doing a little better here. I want to see this. They keep putting Offerdahl out in the flat, and and there's nobody on him.
Right.
And in our last game, there were 3 passes exactly like that.
And that
all went for first downs.
He's got good hands. I mean,
well, yeah, both Dallin Hayden and Offerdahl had first downs on those little halfback screens or whatever you want to call them, wheel routes or whatever you want to call them. Amazing.
Yeah. Colorado offensive line. They're throwing up a graphic now about pressure and sacks allowed. Well, it's about last season, so
are we still at 3 sacks?
I don't know. I can look it up real quick.
Okay, so Logic's Finest says this season is already over. Bad coaching and favoritism. Back to the laboratory. Decide what prime values more.
I would disagree with the season being over. If you lose this game, you're 1-1. That's not the end of the season.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're probably not going to go to the playoffs, but at that point, does it really matter?
No, but you can still have a great season.
Yeah, you can still. That's what I mean is that you just have to check it down and say you're not going to go. We knew we weren't going to go to the playoffs,
right?
But we could still be in contention for a Big 12 title. Those red balloons, man. Somebody needs to get a red or BB gun and start shooting those things. Oh, they're releasing them. Every time they score, they release balloons.
Go. Okay.
Golly, Will Shepherd across the middle. If you see something big, call it out because I'm behind.
All right, I'll do it. I mean, Colorado's showing some life on this drive for sure. You're going to enjoy the next couple of plays.
Okay, he's getting his groove. Shadur's getting his groove.
Yeah, for sure. They're looking a lot better. Hunter's looking better. The whole thing. The only thing I don't like about the drive is they're just throw. It's all receiver routes downfield, and it's what you and I were talking about. Eventually, that'll come back to haunt you, but it's working right now. Red zone.
All right, so our passing is getting a little bit more crisp. Shadur is really, really loving this Hunter connection, which is good because if we can make that work for the rest of the game, at some point they're going to want to take that away.
Yeah.
But if they do, that's going to open up somebody else. And that could be Wester, and it could be Shepherd. But I still think we need to mix in the run here a little bit. I almost feel like at this point we're afraid we're not going to get a score before halftime.
Timeout, Nebraska. A big third down coming down here in the red zone. You'll get caught up here in just a sec. You'll see it. Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. It could be Notre Dame today.
That is for sure. I think that it's fair to say that there are some people that have tuned out of this game.
Yeah. Oh man, they're showing that Travis Hunter catch from last week.
Oh, the one where he was in the end zone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're saying this was the glitch in the 2024 NCAA, the video game. It was like a glitch in the matrix that catch. That was incredible.
Wow. He can definitely do that.
Whew.
Alpine, let's see, what is this?
Much
Alpine,
better.
cheer up. You sound deflated right now. No. I'm not deflated. I'm the only, me and Greg are the only ones that are saying that there's still time in the game.
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's still 3 minutes left in the game. What I'm saying is that we got to do something different. We got to change our game plan a little bit. Oh, he's mad. Oh, Travis was mad on that. Woo. Yeah. Oh my goodness, he was mad. No, don't get me wrong, folks. If we lose this game, and I'm not saying we're going to lose it, but if we do, it's just one game. I'm not really too worried about it. And I knew Nebraska was going to be hard to beat.
Sure. At Nebraska, I mean,
yeah.
That's one of those places where even when Nebraska's not very good, it's tough to go up to Lincoln and win. For anyone.
Not to mention it's a non-conference game.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess a blocked field goal too.
Blocked field goal, yep. I didn't know if you had seen it yet. Ugly.
I know. No, that's all right. I need a beer. Beer assistant. Might want to bring 2. Well, all right. So, Greg, what do you do? What do you do now?
Well, there's not a lot of easy answers, but you and I both were talking about. I don't like going to this pass to the receivers every single down.
Huh? We're on right now. Do you have anything you want to say? Come here. You want to say it in the mic? Yeah, Greg's right here. Say, come here. Greg's right there. Calm down. It's okay. All right. So now you see I am the calmer of the halves that are in this household.
That's always been true. Yep.
I will tell you the 2 recent CU graduates, I think already left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my daughter and her boyfriend, I think they're already gone. I think they left when they scored the second touchdown. They got other things to do. So yeah, so what's your game plan, Greg?
There's not a lot of easy answers there, but I would say don't panic. It's only one half of football. You can come out in the second half and make it a close game. I hate that they didn't get any points on that drive. We need something to kill Nebraska's momentum. They're just on this momentum high right now. You know, they're playing really, really emotionally, and a couple of big plays will undo that. But someone's going to have to step up and do it. It may be on defense. It may be on offense. It may be special teams. But something's got to happen to kill this momentum. Nebraska feels like they could beat anybody right now.
Yeah. Do you just go crazy on defense and start blitzing everybody?
Maybe. I wish I'm like you. I wish I could go back on the tape and see what's breaking down. I mean, is Raiola just getting too much time to throw? And
he is. His pocket's been pretty decent today.
Yeah. Big E.
I don't see, and granted, like we're talking about, I'm looking at my monitor more than I'm looking at my TV. But it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of stunting. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of blitzing. I could be wrong. But I don't feel like we're really doing much to test the offensive line of Nebraska.
Yeah, to see if they can switch up and adjust to assignments changing right at the last minute.
Yeah.
Got to do something.
Wow.
That's a good job rolling back on that screen pass, though. There we go. There's I don't know if that's a sack or a tackle for loss. So we got a third down coming up here in a minute.
If we can stop them here, I think with a little less than 3 minutes left in the half, we could actually put 7 up on this.
Yeah.
And going down 2 touchdowns in this game is not going to be that big a deal.
Right. Big chance for the defense to shine right here. Ooh!
What does it look like?
It's good news. Good news.
So we stuffed them?
Raiola never saw that pressure coming. And
yeah, the front four can't get off the blocks. I agree completely.
Yeah. But that being said, they dialed up a blitz there, and it worked. So maybe they're listening to us, Chris.
Yeah, we need to have some. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm caught up with you. I know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I mean, we just need to go. At this point, we have got absolutely 0 to lose at 21-0. Right. I'm saying pull all kinds of stunts out. Let the defensive line have some fun. Let's get some of our fastest safeties up there on the line to blitz the hell out of Raiola.
Okay, I love that on this punt coming up. I love that he fair caught it, even though he had a lot of room to run. And here's why. Colorado gets the ball with 2:02.
Yeah, one more play before they call it.
It's a free play. So
that is smart. That's good coaching.
Smart.
Okay. Well, good. So see, it doesn't take long to really start to change your decision making.
Yeah.
So we know what we would do on defense. We just basically unload on Raiola and hope that we can, make him a little crazy as a true freshman, and his inexperience will cause him to collapse a little bit.
Right.
And risk the fact that he might be smarter than we think he is, and and expose our secondary to some pretty big hits. So we know about that. Now, what about offense when we come out of the second half? What are you going to do?
Well, right now it's working, but they are so reliant on Shadur to mostly Hunter, but wide receivers in general right now. There's no tight end. There's no running back. There's no fear of those running backs out of the flat like we talked about, and that kind of bothers me a little bit. I think you're going to get diminishing returns on that if you don't change some stuff up.
So you said it's working. What's working?
Well, they moved the ball on that last drive all the way down inside the 10, and they're moving the ball on this drive, is what I mean by it working.
Okay, so some adjustments have been made. He looks like he's getting the ball out of his hands a little bit faster, which may be the difference.
And that's fine, but it feels a little bit like Nebraska is forcing Colorado to become one-dimensional. And you know as well as I do that's going to end up coming back to bite you.
Yeah, I still say you've got something in your bag if you're Pat Shurmur. you've got something in your bag that looks completely different than what we're doing now. And you're kind of holding on to that for a rainy day.
Right.
And it is raining like hell right now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think he needs to pull it out. And, if that is, running, or if that is putting, so here's the argument. Tight end. I keep saying tight end. I say tight end a lot. And the reason why is because I really like tight ends. I like the versatility that you have, the extra pass blocking that you have, which we need right now. It also gives us the ability for that short yardage, 6 to 8 yard play. That almost seems like a free play sometimes when you get a tight end involved. And you mix that up with the running game and an RPO setup, and it makes it deadly because in an RPO, you've got running back like Charlie or Dallin out to the flank. You have a tight end right over the middle, and then you've got 2 wide receivers, one on a post and one on a go. And I mean, it takes a really smart quarterback to be able to figure that out because you've got so many options right there. Yeah. We got Shedeur, and that's where I think Shedeur could shine.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I think if we went to a setup like that, I think we would find some success. Last year in the first 3 games, Michael Harrison, who was not a tight end, they gave him a tight end title, but he was not traditionally a tight end. Put him in a tight end role. And for the first 3 games, we used him a lot, and we won because of it. And then Michael Harrison disappeared for the rest of the season. We just didn't use the tight end anymore. Looks like we got a hold.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of those offensive linemen are reaching a little bit. You got to beat them with their feet, not with your hands.
So back to tight ends.
Wide receiver pass, wide receiver pass, wide receiver pass. And it's all short and intermediate. That was an attempt at a screen, but Nebraska is forgetting that Colorado even has a tight end or a running back right now.
I got to get a live stat thing going here. Are you using live stats anywhere?
I've got them. Yeah, right here. What do you want
to look? Which one are you using?
ESPN.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to look that up.
What do you want?
Oh, no. I just wanted to get the live stats up so I could be watching the stats as I'm going along here. Has Colorado is obviously like negative 25 or 30 yards now because of the.
You talking about rushing or overall?
Yes. No, rushing.
Well, Offerdahl has 4 yards total. Hayden has 3 yards total, and Shedeur has a big old negative because you know how that goes. What they count as rushing yards. So yeah, they're in the negative rushing yards right now. We got 3rd and long. Nebraska's calling timeouts because they're thinking about getting the ball back.
Yeah, I mean they're. I would expect Matt Rule, if I had to say whether or not I would think he would do this, I would say he would probably try to kill the clock as fast as he can and go into halftime with a lead of 21-0.
So I'll tell you what's about to happen if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead.
Nebraska's going to get a big old sack, and the whole place is going to come unglued, and they're going to pin it back inside the 10, and it looks really bad for Colorado, and Nebraska was offsides. And so Colorado gets new life. And nobody saw the flag come out. So it was like yanking the football away from Charlie Brown there.
That's a really good analogy. For Colorado. It's about time. The bad news about it is Shador took a pretty big pancake
He
on that
did,
thing.
and he had two guys in his lap almost immediately.
That's funny. Oh, Mandy's using the whiteboard now. She's drawing up plays.
Drawing up plays?
She's drawing up plays. She wants me to show the world her play here. I'll show you her play here when we get a little bit further closer to halftime.
Make all 10 players run downfield and throw it to a crowd of them.
Yeah. Make every lineman eligible. Oh, we almost got a hole. Oh, jeez. Man, I wish I was not behind in this game.
I know.
So you need to be telling me, because I think a lot of our viewers are.
Yeah, that's fine. I can tell you that Colorado just punted. Fair caught on the Nebraska 30. Or not fair caught, but he was down immediately on the Nebraska 30. And Nebraska's going to try to come out and kick a late field goal, or maybe try to get lucky. I don't know.
It looks like Logic's finest is he's out.
That's illogical. Illogical.
Illogical. Use Sam Hart. I 100% agree. I 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I agree.
Go to a 12 formation. Get two. I say use him. I say use two tight ends. I mean, just come out looking totally different. Make those defensive coordinators go, what are they doing?
Well, Nebraska's moving the ball.
Yep. It's Johnson and Dowdle. Johnson and Dowdle. So if you go back to my pregame yesterday, I mentioned Johnson and Dowdle.
Yeah.
In fact, I mentioned them in the same breath. Oh man, what's going to happen with those flags?
I think Trevor Woods might be about to get ejected. I don't know. Helmet to helmet stuff, and
dude, that's bad.
Does not look good. Yeah, he led with the crown of his helmet. It's not.
All right, well, let me know if we lose him. It looks bad. Okay. It's helmet to helmet. He used the crown of his helmet. He makes forcible contact.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. It's almost as if I'm not gonna say it. I gotta keep my wits about me, man.
He's ejected.
Shiloh is out of the game. Shiloh is out of the game, and someone's got to take this penalty. It's like we got to have one of these every single freaking game. What in the heck? What happened to form tackling, guys? If you're going to do it, go for the middle section of his body. Oh, man, we just lost Trevor Woods.
Yeah.
This is just a little.
This is turning into a train wreck here. I tell you what, they better try to hold on and force only a field goal. Yeah, that was interference. Ooh. Got a little too much of his jersey.
against McKinney.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess this is the question of the moment.
There's our blitz. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. I know I'm reacting. I almost want to watch it to you. It ends up being bad, but Colorado has an interception and doesn't quite secure it. It's in his hands, and then the Nebraska, he tips it up in the air, and a Nebraska player grabs it and takes it into the end zone.
Oh no!
Good
No.
Lord!
Yeah, Mandy's watching NBC too, so she's looking at me.
She in there screaming.
She's staring.
This is one of those plays where you're like, okay, did somebody do some voodoo magic with this game or something?
I'm behind a play.
Tell me when it comes across. It should be pretty quick here.
Yeah, they just showed it. Was that Namir Robinson that picked it up?
I didn't see.
Yeah, it was Namir Robinson that picked it up. The running back.
I mean, that could have been easily been an interception.
Huh?
Should have been an interception. God.
Yeah. But it's behind. It's a play behind. All right. So, and that's pretty much the half at this point.
Yeah. So
you are Coach Prime. I want you to put your Coach Prime hat on. Do you have a Coach Prime hat?
I'll have to. No, I'm not that fancy.
Will you grab my Coach Prime hat? Oh yeah. Okay. I got a Coach Prime hat. I don't wear my Coach Prime hat. You know what it is? I'm sorry, guys. This is my fault. I didn't turn on my beer sign.
That's what it was, dude.
All right. We're going to get serious now, bro.
40 seconds left. Let's take this one back to the house.
Yeah. See, you got to, if you're going to make a big change, you got to make a big change, bro. And that's what we're doing. Is I want Coach Prime and the offensive and defensive coordinators in the game to make a big change. So we have to make a big change too. What big change are you going to make?
Well, I think
no.
You asking me or are you asking Mandy?
I need you. What big change are you physically going to make to yourself?
You and I have been talking about it. We can't expect to constantly drop back a 5-step drop and pass to a wide receiver 10 plays in a row and for that to work out. It is making Colorado's offense completely one-dimensional. And all of a sudden, everybody on Nebraska's defense, everybody's job gets easier when Colorado turns one-dimensional. Now, I understand that's using your best players when you're Colorado. That's using Hunter the most. That's using Shedeur the most. But you can't let Nebraska turn you one-dimensional here. It just makes them able to pin their ears back and come running downhill. That's where some of the quarterback pressure is coming from. They're not at all worried about anything escaping out of the backfield or a tight end getting behind those linebackers. There's no concern about that at all. So that's the biggest. And see here, Shedeur's taking a big hit. That's not going to work. We got to change that up. We got to change the play calling. The defense has played better. The penalties on defense are what has killed us. On that last drive, I mean, it was the targeting call and the personal foul, and then the interference call. Both were the majority of the yardage on that drive. So defense has got to clean it up a little bit and play within themselves. That's probably the best I can do out there. You know. Games can turn around quickly. If they can score 28.5, then we can score 28.5. Better hope.
Yeah, if any team can score 28.5, it's us.
Absolutely. I mean,
and Stanford.
At this point, at this point, it's going to take probably a turnover or two to level the game back out. But it can happen.
That defensive lineman for Nebraska was not going to let go of Shador's shirt.
Yeah, but I didn't like the hit that Shador took at the end of that.
No. And so at this point, do you feel like running the ball, like getting a running ball situation going, is giving up?
No. I think going quarterback to receiver, quarterback to receiver, quarterback to receiver, nonstop. We are on our 12th or 13th consecutive quarterback to receiver call on an intermediate route. I think that's almost the worst thing you can do at this point, because a really good high school defense can do decently if you tell them there's only going to be one kind of play that you're going to have to defend. All 11 of those defenders for Nebraska right now are expecting one thing.
They still have to defend it. I guess that's the...
And again, I'll repeat, it is the advantage there is that you are using your best players. You're distilling everything down to Hunter, Horn, and Shador, and you're hoping that you can put everything on their shoulders. I don't think Nebraska's too good. You can't beat them with those three players alone. Going to have some help. I do like that they've stepped up the tempo a little bit, but we've got to mix up the play calling more than this to have any kind of chance.
Yeah, so you already hit the half, right?
2 seconds.
Okay, so they
You're going to have one last play.
Okay, you're going to have to call it, because right now I'm blind.
I think Colorado's about at midfield. They're probably going to try are they in field goal range? They're in. Okay, we're going to try a wicked long feely field goal here. What's that going to be? About 60 yards? 61 yards.
61 yards, and we're not at home. 61 yards at home is doable.
Yeah.
We suck at long yardage field goals.
Yeah. This seems like a little bit of a gasp, but maybe it's a fake. I don't know. Let's see. Field goal is up, and it is short. Yeah. It looked like he miskicked it a little bit. Didn't have the distance. Hey, I'm just thinking about who gets the ball to start the second half.
We do.
Okay. Well, that's good.
No, I take that back. Nebraska does. We had the ball first.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, so Nebraska does.
That's not good, but okay.
Yeah. Well, I thought my rally hat was going to work, man, but my rally hat doesn't work. So it's coming off. If it'll come off my head.
Have you watched it recently?
Have I washed my rally hat?
Yeah.
I just got it, man. I got it at the game. Got it at the game last week.
You know you can't wash it, right?
No, you can't wash it. It's foam, so I don't need to wash it. Yeah. So we had a comment in here that I wanted to highlight. Hang on a second. Let me get through a few of these. Hang on a second. I'm watching Coach Prime interview.
I couldn't hear him. My volume's down. What did he say?
Okay, so basically what he said was we keep giving the ball back to him.
Yeah.
So I think that's yeah. BKC, I know, man. I'm trying anything. Like I'm asking Coach. So there was a comment in there that said something about somebody said Coach Prime needs to, get this under control or it's his fault or something like that. Somebody else said it's not Coach Prime's fault. So I am a firm believer in the fact that it starts from the top or from the bottom, whichever way you want to look at that. And the head coach is fully responsible for everything that happens to the football team. You're the one that hires the coaches. You're the one that helps recruit the players. You put you sign off on the game plan. And that's kind of the way it goes. Now, the good thing is that our coach being Coach Prime, I think he's got enough experience to where he understands that he's got to make changes. And he said that in his kind of run off the field interview where he said, we got to make some changes. We got to get the offense going. And in this particular case, man, I don't know, down 28. I still think, at this point, we got nothing to lose. And what I mean by that is you could literally do anything. So you could literally just huck it down the field 3 times every single time you have the ball and hope that one of those connects.
Yeah.
And that Shedeur doesn't get picked off again. And you might be able to climb back in this thing, but the defense has still got to step up and slow them down. And we're missing our two of our best defensive players now because Shiloh, I don't know if he's out of the game yet. They asked Coach how's Shiloh doing. He said he wants to play. But you know what that means. It usually means when you say he wants to play, it means that we're not going to let him play.
Yeah.
And then obviously Woods was ejected. So 2 of our best players against that middle of the field are now gone. So that hampers us a little bit. So I still think our best course of action is to just hold on to the ball. Get the ball, hold on to the ball. We only need 4 series to catch up.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Which is about what we have in the second half. We've got 4, maybe 5 series in the second half, depending on what happens with Nebraska. But they're going to sit on that ball. They're going to get the ball and they're going to sit on it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're talking to themselves saying, hey, we don't need to win this game by 60 points.
Right.
We need to win this game by, 21 to 28 points.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get the ball. Let's run the ball. Let's get some, 10-yard gains and then sit on the ball for a little while. Don't create an incomplete pass. Don't go out of bounds. Let that clock run and milk every single ounce out of that time clock. And that knowing Coach Rule, knowing the experience that Coach Rule has in the NFL, I'm sure that's what they're thinking because, they're not used to running up the score in the NFL. So they're 100% in clock management mode at this point. They're saying, hey, we got the win. All we have to do is not screw it up.
Right.
And the way that we can not screw it up is just keep the ball in the offense's hands.
Yeah.
Keep it away from Shedeur, and that will keep it from getting screwed up.
Now it's like one of us said earlier, like for Colorado to have a chance, there's going to need a couple of. That's a funny comment. Enter the dragon.
That was a comment that was made by who was that? Who was that made that comment about Bruce Lee? It was last week, and I want to say that it was heck, I can't remember now. But that comment was based off of somebody else's quote. I wanted this season so bad. Well, keep in mind, BKC, it's not over, man. We knew we weren't going to go undefeated. I don't know one person that said that we were going to go 12-0.
Yeah.
And if anybody had said we were going to go 12-0, then I think that they're probably, I don't know. I'm not even going to say it. We weren't going to go 12-0. We're not that team this year. And there's also some really good teams. But if Nebraska has to be one of the 4 that we lose, and we lose to, let's say, after looking at OSU today, I think OSU could be winnable at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take them off my list because I thought that they were one that was going to beat us, but I'm going to take that back and say,
where is that game at? Is it in Boulder? Or is
it's in Folsom on Black Friday.
Okay. Hey, I love Colorado's chances there.
Yeah. So assuming they don't get any better than they are right now, we have a chance with them. So I'm going to swap Oklahoma State with Nebraska. And if we end up losing to Nebraska, we're okay still. So, and then, Utah is going to be a handful. Kansas State's going to be a handful.
Yeah.
And
At
who
Arizona,
else?
be a little
Kansas
tricky.
is going to be a handful.
Yeah, at Kansas. Kansas looks pretty good. They've got a pretty decent team. At Arizona is not just going to be the easiest thing ever.
No, I agree.
Hey, I'm going to be right back. I got to go put some chickens in a chicken coop.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine. I know big city life. All right, guys, throw some stuff in the chat here. You are Coach Prime. What are you telling the team at halftime? Not game plan, not game plan. What are you doing? What are you telling the team? What are you saying to the team to motivate them for the second half? Because we need some pretty spectacular effort, especially out of the defense, to stop Nebraska. If we don't stop Nebraska, it doesn't matter how well we throw the ball or how good Shooter is. It really doesn't. If they can score, they're going to have the ball at a minimum of 4 times in the second half. If they score on 2 of those 4 series, they're going to win the game. So what do we do to hold them to a field goal, let's say, in the second half? Yeah, 3 drops now to LeJohntay. He's not looking his best today. And I don't know that it's even on him. A couple of those drops were just going to be really difficult balls to catch in the first place. Shedeur he doesn't look as comfortable as he did in a lot of his other games that we lost last year. They're losing in all 3 areas of yes, it's a collective loss. Pat Shermer was a bad coach in high school. Let's see what else. BKC says, apologies to the Buff fan base. This will hurt if we don't come back. Yeah, it will. I mean, we wanted this game, I think, less because we need it, because it's not a conference game. It's a rivalry game, so we want to win this rivalry. It's the last time we're going to play Nebraska, maybe in some of our lifetimes. So it would be really great to walk away, especially come out of Lincoln with this win. On the other hand, you could say out of the last 2 years, we split it. So if you wanted to look for a silver lining and we don't carry it in this game, you could say that. No moral victories. This is supposed to be the year. This wouldn't be a moral victory if we lost this game. There would be no moral victory in this. Shiloh, I did not hear that Shiloh had a broken forearm. That would be devastating. I'm going to look that up, actually. I'm going to see if I can find that somewhere. Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. Okay, so there's a couple people saying that Shiloh has a broken forearm. So that is, I guess, the thing. And we are losing. Man, what does a broken forearm take? Is that out for the season? That's got to be out for the season. I mean, you might be able to play with a cast after about 4 weeks or something like that. So maybe not. But we're not supposed to lose to Nebraska no matter what the record. I understand. But I'm not ready to jump off a cliff because we'd lose a game, because I knew we were going to lose one. Losing to Nebraska, I'm going to say it right now. I would rather lose to Nebraska than lose to, I don't know, anybody else in the Big 12. We got to win the Big 12. If we win the Big 12, we're going to be okay. And we still have an opportunity, if we lose this game, that we could still win the Big 12. Because we have not played a conference game yet. So we are at the top of our conference, as it were. See, 14 throws and 1 run cost us the game. We could have calmed the game down with running 3 straight runs and a punt, then continue throwing. I don't know. Yeah. Everything is going Nebraska's way tonight. Salty Vet is right. Dan Bradbury says, we just need to pull out with 8 O linemen. You know, that's a plan. That's all we need, man, is a plan. That's all we need is a plan.
Max focus, protection.
Yeah, I mean,
look, 8 offensive linemen is not so different from what you've already been calling for, which is 2 tight ends.
All right, Dano, we need a effing hero. I need you to sing the song. If we put you on live, will you sing the song? Maybe that'll turn us around.
I don't think Shadur is the problem.
All right, so we are saying they counted y'all out every week. You know, one of the things, Greg, you've got your glasses on. I don't have my glasses on, and I'm having an issue. I say my glasses. I don't even have glasses.
This is old people problems.
I use my wife's glasses. The schedule doesn't get easier. I agree with that. It does not get easier. In fact, it gets harder as the season goes on. And the last 4 games of the season are some of the hardest games.
Yeah. That's a rough end to the slate. Now, Cincinnati's very winnable. And it's at Colorado, I believe. Cincinnati game.
So Easy Macro says that Shadur's been hit a lot. Maybe it's starting to get to him, meaning that he got hit a lot last year, and maybe it's starting to get to him in this game. I don't know. I mean,
that's
do you have the stats? Do you have the stats in front of you, Greg? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want?
Sacks. What are we up to now? Is it 4 or 5?
Let me scroll down and find it. Looks like 4. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 sacks.
Well, that's weird. It says 4 total at the bottom, but then I'm counting through all of them, and there's 5 of them listed. So I don't know.
I felt like there was 5, but last year they sacked us 8 times. So we're on track to either tie or beat last year as far as sacks are concerned with our newly revamped offensive line. So keep it 100. It says CP is too loyal to some players, no adjustments whatsoever. So the reason why I brought that up there, I don't know that I 100% agree with that comment, but it's.
Chris just went out. While he's coming back, I'll tell you what. I think what he's going to talk about what's bothering him about the stats right now, and I'm sure he's going to have some insight. But what bothers me a lot is Colorado is on pace for 26 receptions, 26 passes, and 8 running plays. That's not going to get it done most of the time.
All right. Sorry. All right. I failed you on that one. I had to dump out for some reason.
I covered. What I was saying when you were out was I don't like that Colorado's on pace for 46 pass attempts and 8 rushing attempts.
So, yeah, that's my deal, man. So for those of you who didn't watch my pregame, it's the same pregame that I've had for every single game except for the first 3 of last year. And the pregame looks like this. We have to have 30-plus rush attempts in a game in order to be relevant in the CFB.
Yeah.
I took the top 5 offenses from last year, and I took the top 5 ranked teams from last year, so 2 separate groups. And I looked at it, and only one team was pass heavy that made it into the playoff last year, and that was Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Washington was pass heavy. They only had 118 net rushing yards per game, which was the lowest. Like everybody had an average of 169 or higher, okay, out of that group. And Washington didn't. So how did Washington do that with only 118? Now, granted, that was double what we had.
Well,
last
Washington did it because they had a top 10 NFL draft receiver and a first-round quarterback.
Yes, and they had a top-ranked defense.
Yeah.
So they were able to handle it on defense.
Yeah.
And, obviously they didn't make it past the national championship, but at the same end, they made it to the national. And that's a rarity. You don't see that anymore. I mean, back in the early 2000s when you had the air raid offenses, it happened all the time. But now, defensive coordinators have figured that out. And that's why traditional air raid offenses don't exist anymore. Kind of the same reason why you don't have every single team running a triple option, because most teams have figured out the triple option now.
So Texas Tech has had quarterbacks like Cliff Kingsbury and Patrick Mahomes. How many times have they made the playoffs? It's the same kind of concept that you're talking about right there. I mean, it's fun to watch, but it's not going to win you championships.
Mm-hmm. And you can win games, but it's not going to win you championships.
And you're not only are you going to win games, you're probably going to upset a couple of teams that you're not supposed to beat, and that's fun too. But it's not a team that's built for championships. It's a team that's built for entertainment, and that's what it boils down to. And I'm not saying that Colorado is Texas Tech by any stretch, but it can be a temptation to fall into that type of offense. I think it can be tempting sometimes for coaches and offensive coordinators to be seduced by that high-flying air raid type offense, but there's very few examples of it getting you all the way where you need to go. It's still got to be built on a solid run game and a really good defense.
All right, so we have a comment, and I was wondering when somebody was going to bring this up. So Strong Arm, thank you very much for bringing this up. Why the hell is Charlie still running the ball? Where is Micah Welch and Brandon Hood? So I want to start this out by saying, Greg, if you'll pull up the stats and check the running, how many attempts for Charlie and how many attempts for
Dallin Hayden?
For Dallin Hayden.
2 attempts for Charlie, 2 attempts for Dallin Hayden.
Okay, and net yards for both.
Charlie's run for 4 yards. Dallin has run for 3 yards.
Correct. So I don't know that there's not a whole lot of people that wouldn't agree that going into this season that Dallin Hayden was considered probably our number 1 running back from the fan base. And I don't mean from the fan base like Colorado fans. I wanted Charlie. Everybody wanted Charlie to start. But even I said that I don't think Charlie's going to get all the carries. I think it's going to be Dallin Hayden that gets the majority of the carries. Then you have a couple of true freshmen in there with Brandon and Micah that are very good backs. They showed huge potential in practices, and in the open practice, they looked really hot. But neither one of these guys, last game, same exact thing. Dallin actually ran the ball for less average yards than Charlie did. Now, neither one of them ran for a lot of yards. I think Charlie was 3 and Dallin was 2.6, if I can remember correctly. And in this game, it's the same thing. They're both exactly the same thing. We're just not running the ball enough. They don't respect us in the run. And for that matter, I don't think we're creative enough in our run game. We need to be way more creative in our run game. Now, where is Micah and Brandon? That's another one of the things that I said in my pregame show is that I would really like to see Colorado just open it up in the run, and that means emptying the running game. That means put every active running back that they brought to Nebraska, put them in the game. Who cares at this point? Who knows? Maybe Brandon Hood is the second coming of, name your best running back, JJ Flanagan. Okay. For those of you who even know who that is, maybe he is that next guy. We don't know until we try him. Michael Welch fights really hard. So now, does he fight harder than Dallin Hayden does? I don't think he does. but he might have some success there. But we have to have more than how many runs did we have? 4?
4 attempts. That's what I'm saying.
4 attempts. You got to have more than 4 attempps. I understand that we're down by 28 points.
Derrick Henry back there. If you're only going to rush it 4 times, then you're a one-dimensional offense.
One-dimensional. Not to mention that I think this year we have not had one single tight end catch. I don't think we've had a tight end catch this year so far. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
I'll look it up.
All right, now here's where we really get to see if Colorado made some halftime adjustments. Oh, that's what I was getting to. Is they're talking about in-game adjustments. One of the comments that I made on, I think it was DNVR or something like that the other day, was that with this new iPad system and the on-the-fly adjustments that you can make by, reviewing plays and stuff like that, literally on the field, on the fly.
Yeah.
The smarter coaches are going to have the shortest learning curve, which is going to gain them the most ability to make the adjustments in game and not have to wait for halftime to make adjustments.
Yeah.
So are we that team? That's a good question. Yeah. Do we have the staff and the training to be able to use those iPads to make in-game adjustments?
By the way, second part, I'm sorry to interrupt. There has not been a single pass to the tight end yet this year.
Okay, so no tight end passes. That's what I thought, and that is a crime as far as I'm concerned, because last year the first 3 games, Michael Harrison was a big deal for us.
Hey, so the defense holds on the first possession, coming out.
Yeah, so we're coming out good.
Yeah. Good pressure on a blitz. Rayola made a good play, but not enough for the first down.
All right. So second part of that scenario is you got to have the coaches that have that short learning curve to be able to learn those iPads and make adjustments. Okay. So let's assume that we have those coaches, right? We have NFL talent coaches that have been using those iPads before. And so let's say that that's true. The second would be, do they have a game plan for adjustments? We might be able to make them, but how are we making them? What are we doing? Yeah. How are we making these adjustments? What are we adjusting? How does that look different? Because right now I don't see that looking different. So that was a comment by one of our.
I'll tell you this: there's good punt return by Colorado, 40-yard line. If we come out and throw it to a wide receiver 3 times in a row, I'm gonna throw my hands up in the air.
I know.
I'm gonna eat my hat.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of faith right now, because I think that. So Wester, yeah, that was a good run. I feel like the coaches think we're too far behind to establish a running game.
Yeah,
and I don't know why they feel that way. I think we could still do it. We just got to keep the ball away from Nebraska as much as we can.
The thing you got to think about there is the run game is what helps your pass game become what it needs to be.
Right. They're not just going to let us, if we have 2 or 3 really good run plays, they're not just going to stand back and say, okay, we'll just let them have the run. Well, they might say, just let them have the run.
Yeah.
Don't let them kill you deep. Give them the run. Let them do their thing down low. But don't let them hit you deep. And they may just give it to us. Like, I don't want to say a prevent, but like close to a prevent.
Yeah. Well, it's the Wester show right now. Play number 1 was a wide receiver pass. Play number 2 is a wide receiver pass.
We're converting it.
What did I say I was going to do?
Well, but we haven't gotten to the third one yet.
No. You're right. That Hutmacher guy, that guy's a beast, man. Good.
Golly, dude.
Talk about a corn-fed Nebraska kid.
Every time he falls on the ground, kernels fall out.
He's from South Dakota. I just looked it up. Okay.
Yeah, that's still corn country, man.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
good
so
job.
there's your third pass. Where's your hands? There you go. There you go.
I'm exasperated. I know it's moving the ball, but I'm telling you, you're just going to get diminishing returns with this stuff. It's just so one-dimensional. It's frustrating.
Yeah, so they're doing everything they can to slow Hutmacher down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going to like this next play.
So it looks like 2 in a row?
4 in a row.
4 in a row.
That's all we're doing here. We're throwing to the wide receivers. That's what we're doing this game, clearly. But this is a pretty one. This is really nice.
Yeah, I think yeah, that Shepard's got a big body.
Yeah. They're great play. Really good catch with one arm kind of draped around his middle.
Yeah, that's like shades of Travis's catch last week.
Hey, I agree with you, Logic's finest. That is a very logical statement.
Hey, Logic, I thought you weren't coming back until the fourth quarter.
Hey, don't be rubbing it in his face. Listen, my man, he's making good points. I appreciate every single comment, Logic.
Well, hold on a second. So let's look at this now. Logic, man, I appreciate you more than ever. But when you look at this, it's like, why doesn't Dallin get touches? Charlie's got touches. They both have the same amount of touches. So
they both have, Chris will be back with us here in a second. They both have 2 touches, which is about 15 fewer than they should have. Okay, we got a big conversion attempt happening. Another pass fell short.
I'm back again. I don't know what's going on with my app.
What's that happening, dude? What's going on there?
It has to do with I'm on the EV Mux app, and as I'm going sideways, for some reason, it's just.
It reminds me of that scene in Airplane when they got that airplane coming in to land, and all of a sudden all the lights go out. They cut to a shot, and there's a guy who's unplugged it, and he's like, "Just kidding," and he plugs it back in. It's like all of a sudden Chris disappears, and I think somebody back here is like pulling a plug for just a minute.
Oh boy. 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 We 100%.
Colorado is on the board.
Yes, we got a field goal.
That was 7 straight wide receiver passes.
Because the what is worse than losing to Nebraska this year is letting Nebraska totally skunk you.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, 3 points is something. I'm telling you, a lot of what Nebraska's living on right now is momentum, and I'd love to see Colorado get a turnover here, a pick 6 or something, just to, not necessarily say, oh, Colorado's going to win the game, but at least put some doubt in them and change the momentum of this game. It has just been everything has just fallen Nebraska's way. It's frustrating.
Okay, Logic Finest says, enough said. I'll see you with the 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
See what you did? You see?
I didn't do anything.
You have such powerful pull around here, Chris.
If you're gonna do something, do it, man. No, but Logic knows. Logic knows he needs to keep it. He needs to keep here because we need all the pull we can get. And he's a good commenter. I say he. It could be a she. We don't know, man.
Yeah.
It could be a child. We don't know.
Well, that's true, but he's a very logical child.
Oh boy, I don't know about that.
About the culture?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there's that, I don't mind talking about it because it is what it is, right? That's the one of the storylines of Colorado is.
Well, whether you believe it is true or not, there are going to be some people who are going to accuse the coaching staff of trying to pump up Shadur's stats with all these passes and help him with um, his draft stock coming up. I don't know how much that makes sense because those NFL teams can look at the situation. They can see if anything like that's going to happen, and Coach Prime knows that. So that seems a little bit
So,
much to believe, but
well, so let me throw it to you this way, and this is not something that I believe, but obviously because I do a show, I think about this a lot when it comes down to people having a conspiracy about Coach Prime trying to get Travis the Heisman Trophy
yeah,
and Shadur the top quarterback in the draft, right?
yeah, yeah,
So let's say that that's a thing,
yeah,
right? I don't think it's a thing, but I don't think it's a thing, but I also don't think it's not something in the back of everybody's mind,
sure,
right?
yeah,
So and the other part of that too is that you want Shadur to have the ball in his hands. You want Shadur to throw the ball. You want Travis to catch the ball. You want Travis to be on defense. You want our two best players to play as much as possible. So that's going to happen regardless of what the storyline is and regardless of what the conspiracy is those two guys are going to touch the ball more than anybody else most of the time. But let's just say that it's a conspiracy and that Coach Prime knows that we are going to be mid at best to take a Shadur line in the Big 12. And so why not pump a few of our guys into the NFL as high as we can? And
Well, and the flip
and
side of that is that if you get a Heisman Trophy winner and if you get a top quarterback in the draft, that is going to help your that's going to help your recruiting immensely.
it's exactly right. Now the problem is that Shadur could be the best quarterback in college football, but if we end up the year 3-8 or 3-9, then it hurts his draft status.
Yeah.
Now, is he going to fall to third? If he's going to fall to third round, no, he's not. He's still going to be first round. He's going to be a first round pick no matter what.
Yeah.
But in the NFL, the difference between the first quarterback drawn and the second or third quarterback drawn is a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
Not only that, but it's also harder to predict the team that you're going to go to.
All right.
Which may work in his benefit if a team that he doesn't want to go to has first pick. So
I'm feeling pretty good about my Quinn Ewers prediction that he's going to be the first quarterback taken off the.
You really think Quinn is going to do that?
Isn't that who I predicted? Remember when we did that show? Was it a month or two ago where we were talking about draft status? I think I went with Quinn Ewers. I think, but you wrote it down. You could make up anything you want, and I'd believe it right now.
No, I don't remember that, but
I don't know. Anything can
at
happen.
At the same end, I don't think it's a stretch. You know what I think is going to help Quinn Ewers' draft status is how Bo Nix does.
Well, yeah.
If tomorrow, if Bo Nix goes off like he did in practices, like he did in preseason games,
yeah.
If he goes off and he is a rookie phenom at quarterback, I think Quinn Ewers looks a lot like him from the standpoint of how he plays. He's a good game manager. He's got an accurate throw. He doesn't mind being part of the running game.
God, Travis Hunter's so good.
I know, isn't he?
I'm just watching this defensive play. Here's another prediction I'm going to make. Travis Hunter's going to get drafted before Shadur Sanders does.
Oh yeah, I think Travis Hunter's going to be first person off the board.
Yeah.
I don't care what team you are, and if you need a receiver or a defensive back, you can't not grab him.
Yeah. He's really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's worth a bundle in trade later. What does Wester do on this? On this punt?
It's not good. He gets eaten up. It's they're pinned deep. I think at about 10 or 15 yard line.
Yeah, 14. Yeah. Okay, crap. All right, so this is going to be uphill. That's okay. We can play uphill.
Yeah.
So Paul Walker says Cam Ward is better than Shador. What do you think? Did you watch Cam Ward at Miami yet?
I haven't seen him live. I've just seen highlights.
He's looking really good at Miami.
Didn't he transfer from Washington
State?
Yeah. Washington State.
And he was good at Washington State too, but Miami's obviously got a lot more firepower.
So you know what? I would have watched him when we saw Colorado play him last year then, right?
Yes.
I remember that kid.
I want to say, was Cam Ward out for that game last year? Cam Ward may have been out for that game last year. I can't remember. Maybe he was there. I honestly, that being that late in the season last year, those games just started to bleed together.
I am looking it up as we speak. I remember that game. It wasn't.
Maybe it was Utah I was thinking of.
Yeah, Utah's he played.
Okay, yeah, it was Utah. That Utah's quarterback.
I just remember him looking really, really good. His stats, now that I'm looking at them, his stats were good but not great. 18 for 30, 288 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And he ran the ball 10 times for 2 more touchdowns as well. So yeah, that's where he's dangerous, isn't it?
So I'm gonna say that Cornell 973. I think he's right. I don't think Cam is better than Shador. I think Cam is playing on a better team than Shador is right now from the standpoint of a whole team. I think Miami this year is better than Colorado.
Well, and it may be one of those situations too where Cam, I don't know.
There you go. MT says Cam is on a better team. Yeah,
I'm being a little bit judgmental here, but I believe Cam's kind of long and skinny, and in the NFL that makes me a little nervous. Being a little. I mean, Shadur's a little more stocky, and that's what you're going to need in the NFL.
True. But true. All right, so we're back to all we do is shotgun formation and nothing else. What say you, Greg?
You think on this drive right here? Oh, I just missed the play. What happened? Was that a run play? Because if that's a run play, I'm just going to be so happy.
I think the topic of discussion right now is that comment that's up there, which was all we're doing is shotgun at this point. Do you want to see Shador under center?
I think anything right now that would change things up would be good.
I like that. That.
Colorado is showing some life on this next drive. I love it. You're going to like this next player too.
I didn't see that first run.
Yeah, that was that on 1st and 10. Dallin Hayden run for 6 yards. I looked away and I didn't see it, but yeah, thank goodness. Holy smokes!
Wow.
Let's get these running backs involved.
Are we going to do this?
And it set up the following play.
Dallin in the flat. We're good with Dallin in the flat.
Yes, absolutely.
Those halfback passes
are deadly.
Worked for us last week. We were 3 for 3, and I think we had 2 or 3 first downs on those, and then we just do it again and we get a first down. This is what I'm talking about: is get somebody other than the receivers in the game.
Again, Nebraska's coming out and they're looking at where the receivers are, and they're saying the ball is 100% going to one of those 4 guys, and that makes it so much easier for them. So when you start getting Dallin Hayden or Offerdahl or whoever involved, it just gives them more they have to think about.
Yeah, Elijah Judy just walked off.
Yeah,
acting like he was hurt so we could slow our offense down.
Wonder if he's related to Jerry Judy. There's our 5th sack.
Is that the official 5th, or is that the 5th/6th?
That would be. Did they have one on the first drive? I don't think they did they? So wouldn't that be?
Well, no. You said that there was. It looked like that at halftime that there was maybe 5, but
let me see if they've updated that. No, their stats are all messed up. They've got 5 listed individually. There it goes. 5 total, but that'll be the 6th one.
So officially 6 sacks now?
6, yeah.
6. Okay. All right. Let's not match or beat last year's sack total. Boy, Shedeur is going to be sore after this game.
No matter what happens in this game, no matter what the outcome is, it needs to not be lost that there are people out there who think it's a good idea to wear red and white striped overalls.
I'm gonna make that note.
There are people who think that that's a good idea.
Yes.
Oh, man, I want to see the replay on this. Bullet passed a horn. Would have been for a first down. I thought he had it. Did he not? Oh, yeah. Okay, it's incomplete. All right. I thought he had a foot down. It's coming up. You'll see it.
Yeah, it's
darn good looking play.
Yeah, just a second too late.
Yep.
Half second too late. So far, we're not running the ball, but we're passing the ball to the running backs.
Okay, hold that thought. They may review this. His left foot, the toe might have been down when he had possession. It's going to be hard to overturn it, but
yeah, it'll come down to did he have possession when his foot was down, and it looked like he was rolling off of his toe when he caught the ball.
Yeah. Boy, isn't it amazing how many of these plays are so close? And you would think that replay would fix everything, but I'm looking at the replay and I don't know what I would call this.
Hey, that's close.
I'll say this. If it was a Nebraska receiver, I'd be going, oh, that's clearly incomplete.
Of course. Yeah, it looks like he has control of it.
Yeah, it's close enough. You could see it.
Yeah.
You could see it being called either way.
He didn't have it pulled into his body, but he had control.
Right. Easy Macro says Wildcat formation. I missed that, but that's a good call, Macro. I'm glad we're changing up some of the formations and some of the looks. It said play stands. So they're going to rule it incomplete.
All right.
But they said play stands. That means that they kind of agree with us that it was close, and you could probably call it either way.
Yeah, if it had been called as a reception, it would have stayed as a reception, yeah.
Right.
Why is Shedeur holding the ball knowing he don't have the line? He could easily throw it to 7. Yeah, so if you look at last week's games and you look at the early part of this week's games, or this week, if you look at the early part of this game, especially with Offerdahl is either coming off a block and going to the flat, or is going directly to the flat, and there's nobody from Nebraska around him. But Shedeur doesn't even look at him. It's obviously not anywhere near one of his top reads. And I think they reviewed that and saw how open these running backs were, and now they're starting to use it a little bit more, which is good. So there is your first game adjustment right there. Put a check mark next to it. We just made an adjustment.
Yeah.
Hot dog. We made an adjustment on offense. What the heck?
Block in the back on Nebraska. Boy, I was barely a block in the back, but you know what barely on the block of the back is? It's still a block in the back.
That's right.
All right, let's get a pick six here. What do you think? Make this game interesting.
We need it. Normally that's Shiloh that does that. So we need somebody else to step up there. We need Silman Craig to get in there and do that if he's the Colton Hood. Huh. All right. All right. So now we have running backs getting involved. So now what is the only other thing we need to get involved?
Well, does Colorado have a tight end?
Yes, they do. He came from Ohio State University.
You know what I mean? Like, what's that guy thinking right now?
Yeah, really. Like I left OSU for this. But he's not even our starter. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
We have two edges that we turned into tight ends this year. Two edges from last year that we turned into tight ends this year. One of them is Savell Smalls, who was a 5-star edge that went to Washington and basically sat behind a bunch of really good edges out there and didn't really do much. So he transferred to Colorado, and he played a little bit last year, but not a lot. And then this year they transformed him into a tight end, kind of like they did Michael Harrison.
Yeah.
And he did so well in practices that he got the starter. He got the starting position, or at least he was listed as a starter, I should say. So, and then you have Sam Hart right behind him. So, and I want to say that if I'm not mistaken, that this is a long time ago that I did a video on Savell Smalls, but I think he was a tight end also. He played both ways in high school. Yeah. Somebody fact check me on that, but I think that's true.
A lot of these top athletes do. Those high school coaches want to get them on the field as much as possible.
Put number 22 at quarterback and run the option. Holy crap. Could you imagine that? So who is that? Eric? Dang, man. You get the comment of the day because at this, no, it's not Eric. It's Kay. So it's funny. 22 is, I want to say it's Ponder. And hang on a second. Let me make sure I'm right on this, but I'm pretty sure that Ponder is 22. Anyway, really good option quarterback, really good running the ball. And where is that? I got to be careful I don't mess up the live here. Eric said Pearson is the starting tight end.
I mean, isn't it kind of just an academic argument right now anyway? Because if nobody's playing tight end and nobody's catching any passes at tight end.
If you're the starter of a position that isn't doing anything, then are you really the starter?
Yeah. I mean, what does that – I'm sure we've lined up with some tight ends in some formations, but I haven't seen it.
Hey, Don Sember, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you in a long time. I hope you were doing well. Thank you very much. Family's doing great. Except that they're all perplexed right now like we are. Those halfback hitches, man.
Yeah. These two teams are doing opposite things right now. Nebraska's just running the ball every chance they can get. And we knew that was going to happen. We knew they were going to try to milk this clock.
So Eric said that he thinks that Pearson made a catch in the first half. I did not see that.
Well, let me look on the
It's Morgan Pearson. He's one of the edges that they transformed to a tight end.
Okay. Well, if he made a catch, then he is not listed on ESPN, or they missed it because he's not.
Okay.
Every single person that's listed on receiving right now is a wide receiver.
All right. So
and Dallin Hayden, of course. No. There he is, Savell Smalls. He just popped up.
Did Savell make a catch?
That's what they're saying on ESPN. Savell Smalls, 1 catch for 2 yards.
Okay, so it was Savell, not Morgan Pearson, because Savell is listed. I'm looking at the roster right now, the CU depth chart for Nebraska, and Savell is number 31. He is listed as a starter. Morgan Pearson is 37.
It had to have been pretty early on.
Yeah, I missed it. I would have been really excited if I had seen that.
There it is. 2nd and 10. Sanders pass complete to Savell Smalls. Okay, for a 2-yard gain. Well, I'll eat my words. They passed it once to a tight end.
For 2 yards.
Holding against Nebraska. Is that right?
All right, we are caught up on comments now. So, guys, flood your comments in. What do you want to see out of the next series from Colorado? How did those penalties turn out? It's weird having.
Yeah, there was a hold. Yeah, they got Nebraska holding. 2nd and 21 for Nebraska now. So
it's weird having a friend that lives in the future.
Hey, how is that weird? I've always lived in the future, man.
That is funny that Peacock is one whole series behind NBC.
Yeah, what are they worried about? They running it through a filter or something, or they beaming it, bouncing it out to space? And
the difference between broadcast and streaming, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Another penalty on Nebraska. So this is good.
They're getting sloppy now.
They are.
But we're not putting points on, and we've got 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
Right. Yeah, that's a good call.
Conversion. We've got to convert. Every single series from here on out's got to be a touchdown.
Pressure. Oh, there's a pass play. Daggone it. Caught the Buffaloes expecting a run play, and you won't like it. It's coming up here in a sec.
Yeah, I think that
it's an obvious passing down, but
I want to see what the. I don't know, man. Guess what? It was a tight end, man. It was a tight end. They know how to use the tight ends in Nebraska, that's for sure.
That's frustrating because that was a big chance there when we had them 2nd and 21 or whatever.
So why do you think the tight end is such an elusive position to defend?
You used the phrase earlier about lulling to sleep. You know, you put a tight end out there and they block and they block and they block. About the 4th or 5th time, all of a sudden those you catch those linebackers taking a step in, and lo and behold, you've got a good pass catcher who's hard to tackle behind the linebackers. That can be deadly. It's one more thing that they got to worry about. It keeps those linebackers off the line of scrimmage, keeps them honest, which helps every other position. So it's just one other dimension to an offense that defenses have to take into account, unless they don't have to take it into account, which which makes life easier for the defense. So, Eric, I agree with that. Although they have been hurrying up sometimes, but yeah, I agree with that. Faster pace on the offense is needed. There you go. Good play. 3rd down. This whole drive has been good except for that one big pass play. Well, and I guess that end around was pretty good as well. But.
That end around was awesome, and that when you look at the way that Nebraska is executing on these, on their diversification of their plays,
yeah,
pulling out the playbook and just giving us everything they have. They don't have to do that right now.
No, I know.
They could just literally grind the ball and win the game if they wanted to do it, but they're not. They're going to flash and they're going to show and they're going to do some things. I mean, at this point, they're practicing.
Yeah.
For their games that they have in the Big Ten, they're practicing. So I respect that a lot. They could just sit on it if they wanted to, and that's what I would do if I was a coach. Is I would sit on the ball and just walk away from this game. But they're opening it up a little bit and seeing what they can do.
So looks like Travis Hunter's cramping up a little bit. They're feeding him a banana on the sideline.
Putting some potassium in his body.
Like literally the trainer is holding a banana in front of him and he's does that potassium get in your body that quickly? I'd love to talk to a doctor about that.
I bet you it gets in there within, probably 5 to 8 minutes, I would imagine. Your body starts to absorb it. But you're right. Maybe he just needs to have an IV or something like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that next thing, which is Travis Hunter going both ways all the time. Is that hurting him? Is that hurting us?
That's a great question. And I love him on defense. I think the NFL is going to love him on defense. Defense holds, by the way, Colorado's going to get, well, unless they go for it on 4th down, but I love him on defense. I think that's where his future is. And Colorado has good talent at wide receiver anyway. I wouldn't complain too much. I think it'd be better for Hunter if he played defense and started showcasing what he can do. That being said, I don't know that he has to worry too much about his draft stock. He's going to go in the top 10 for sure. You might be right. He might even go first overall.
Yeah, I think I'm 100% on him going first, but I think this has been an argument since day one that he came here, which is, there's the camp that says that you need to use Travis every single play you can use him, and he's built like a robot and he can handle it and no one else can handle it, and if you don't use him, you're stupid and those kind of things.
Yeah.
And then there's the camp that says no, he's actually not a robot. He's actually human. He showed it last year when he got taken out for part of the season.
Right.
And although he can do it and he wants it and he helps us on both sides, I think I would rather have him 100% for 50% of the plays than 75% for 100% of the plays.
Yeah, I understand.
So, and we have a lot of other talent, but the other thing too is with his draft stock, I don't know that him playing, 130 reps is going to help him in the NFL because he's not going to do that in the NFL.
Yeah.
He stands a big chance of getting seriously injured.
Yeah.
That's going to ruin his draft status.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I wouldn't wish anything, but a serious injury is the only thing that would knock him way down the draft boards.
I agree. But even more than that is we give him, we let him be the best he can be, and maybe not just keep him just on defense or offense, but just use him less. Use him on maybe mainly on defense, and then use him on key offensive plays, kind of like they did with Prime back in Prime's day.
Yeah.
He was primarily defense, but they used him on offense when they needed him, and he was a big factor for the Dallas Cowboys in that.
That's true. I remember that. I just saw a
So
commercial for Bud Light Peach. Oh, I don't know about product placement on your show or anything like that, but that sounds pretty awful to me. You haven't tried that, have you?
no, I'm not a peach guy. I don't like
Okay.
peaches. In fact, I think peaches are nasty.
Or Bush Light. It was Bush Light Peach. Bush
Okay, well
Light.
that now that makes more sense because Bush sounds like a company that would come out with something that had peach in it.
Good heavens, what is happening to this world?
I don't know. Keep
Okay.
it 100 says, do you believe it would look bad if Shadur was benched to give QBs 2 and 3 some reps?
Hmm. In this game, I think you could justify it. You could say you don't want Stur to get hurt. Game's already pretty much decided. Having your backup guys get some reps is always a good thing. I mean, it's basically waving a white flag, but at some point it might be a smart thing. I tell you what, if he gets hurt with 4 minutes left to go in a game that's 35-10 or something like that, then you're never going to get forgiveness for that. You know, that's cool.
So I will take the alternative
Okay.
outlook on this, and I will say that yes, it would look horrendously bad if we pulled Shadur Sanders. It would be like we quit on Nebraska.
Yeah.
And versus Nebraska, I don't think we can do that. I mean, there's not a lot of face that you can save at this point.
Yeah.
But that's part of it right there is that,
Yeah.
we're going to pull him to save him, but it's not going to come across like that in the media. It's going to be Shador wasn't good enough. So Coach Prime benched him for a number 2 quarterback or even a number 3 quarterback. And not that we care too much about what the media says because it's all over the place, but it's already on fire. I haven't even looked at what's happening out there in media world, but you know that they're trying to burn Boulder to the ground at this point. So why give them one more thing, right? Let's just keep at this. I don't think as long as we do some smart things and the offensive coordinator does what he's supposed to do and keep Shadur out of harm's way, even if we run the ball for the rest of the game, knowing that we're probably not going to catch up, at least we have got the running game down because at some point this year, we have got to figure that out. Like, when do you figure that out? Figure it out now. Figure it out right now. Right now, figure it out.
Right.
Empty the running back room. Let's go to a 2-back set. Go to a 2-back set. Let's figure this out.
What is a 2-back set? What is this 2-back set you speak of?
Let's go to a 1 tight end, 2-back set with Shadur under center. And let's run counters and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's just, it's this.
Hey, we have a tight end in the game.
Hey, I agree.
That's Savell Smalls.
Yeah.
He got a block.
He looks good, man. Good looking athlete.
Yeah, that's a 5-star, bro. That's what a 5-star looks like.
Oh, yeah.
How many 5-stars do you know in history of 5-stars that have switched positions?
Well, it happens occasionally. Sometimes it depends on the. I'm watching this 3rd and 1. Colorado's going for it. I think they got stopped short. Nebraska's saying they got the ball, but I'm not. Okay. It's going to be 4th and half of a yard. What do you do, Coach?
Yeah, right now, there's nothing else to do but run.
Yeah. That run
And
play
you
went
go
for half a yard.
You go heavy, man. Put 2.
Oh, you know what? Sanders did drop the ball, but he got it back. That's probably why he didn't push forward a little bit better than that on that play, because he didn't have ball. 4th and inches. Here we go. We're on our own 30-yard line. Running back. That's going to be a turnover on downs, man.
Was it Offerdahl? 44?
Yeah, I didn't see. It was running back, but I didn't see if it was Offerdahl or who it was.
It was probably Offerdahl because they hadn't been there.
Offerdahl, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing you can say is that is kind of predictable. I'm not a big fan of your 4th and a half yard and you put your quarterback in the shotgun.
No. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, Nebraska's got to be sitting there thinking it's going to be either this guy or that guy. So,
all right. So let's break this down. And I'm gonna come off as an Offerdahl homer. Because I am. But here's the deal, man. I don't care who is back. You put Hayden back there, you put any of them back there on a 4th and 1. We've done this twice now that I've seen. And you're in the shotgun on a 4th and 1, and you're handing it off to a running back on a defense that we know is a complete wall.
Yeah.
Why would we do that? And this is keeping this is the offensive coordinator keeping Shedeur out of harm's way by keeping him in the shotgun the whole game.
Coach Prime is chewing out the offensive line right now. And I mean, I suppose they deserve some of that blame.
Shane Cokes.
But again, I've got to say, yeah, I know Cokes made a nice play there. But I also at the same time have to say, yeah, shotgun formation with one running back in the back, no fullback. That's going to get blown up a lot of times if you're trying to just get a yard up the middle. You're not fooling
especially with an offensive
kicker.
Yeah, especially with an offensive line that isn't able to get any push downfield.
They're not feeling real good about everything right now, that offensive line, I guarantee that.
It looks like we're pretty stout on defense right now, but it's also possible.
The defense is looking great, in my opinion. They have turned it up a notch.
It's also possible that Nebraska is doing what I said they should do, which is basically just
run the clock. Yeah.
Just run the clock down.
Yeah.
Just run it down. Don't get fancy. Don't try to lose the ball.
Right.
Because the last thing you need is a pick six or a fumble and a run back for a touchdown or something like that.
Right.
So you just play it smart. You know you're going to give the ball back to Colorado. You know you can stop Colorado.
Oh, holding call against Nebraska. Surely they'll decline it.
Yeah, so Dylan Raiola passes on that third down, right?
Right. They accepted it. Wow.
Dumb freaking move. Why would you do that?
Because I think it's because they're thinking about field goal range.
I understand that, but at the same time, if you don't convert or if you get a hold.
Yeah. Okay. It worked out. I agree. I think I agree with you. I'm surprised they accepted that penalty. I think you put them in the fourth down and force them to make a punt or a really good kick.
Well, they're in field goal range.
Yeah, but that 10 or 15 yards there can make a big difference. I don't know how good their kicker is. I don't know anything about Nebraska's kicker.
I don't think Nebraska knows anything about Nebraska's kicker because all they do is score touchdowns. So when we score touchdowns all the time, why do we even need a kicker?
I tell you what, to your point right there, Chris, they hit Raiola as he released the ball, and it was probably the correct thing not to throw a flag on it, but it was close enough they could have thrown a flag. So, and that's an automatic first down if they throw the flag on that. So that's exactly what you're talking about. Why do you open up that possibility there, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, at this point, Nebraska's got the game in the bag.
Yeah.
All they have to do is keep the ball on the ground. They're probably not going to make first downs every single time, but they know they can. They know their defense has held us really well.
Yeah.
Put the ball back in the hands of the defense.
Okay,
and let it
we got
run.
a flag. Hang on. They punted it, but are we going to get called here for roughing the punter?
Well, that would be par for the course. I mean, if we're going to rough everybody, we might as well get the punter in the whole thing too.
Okay, good.
Because
ball was tipped.
We very easily could have been called on that roughing of Riola the play before.
You watched the player's reaction, and he was celebrating, and so you had a feeling that he knew that he hadn't committed a penalty, and they ended up picking up the flag. So good for Colorado. Let's go down and score here.
Yeah, there is no such thing as a moral victory in this game.
No.
All right, so nobody says Charlie is not the guy. What the hell? What do you think?
I think it's too soon to tell if anybody is the guy. They haven't had enough reps. They haven't had enough plays.
Nobody is the guy.
Right.
Nobody is the guy. Nobody. Is Dallin Hayden the guy? Dallin Hayden has run for less yards than Charlie has.
Maybe.
So how is Charlie not the guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you who's not the guy is the offensive coordinator that's not running more running plays.
Yeah.
And we're not getting our other running backs in there because who knows what Hood can do. But I can tell you that Charlie has been put in two positions. And if it was anybody, if it was Brandon put in those same positions, I would say the same thing for Brandon. You cannot put our guys in that 4th and 1 in a shotgun and expect them to pick up a yard against a team that has been a giant red wall.
Yeah.
How will we're not getting any penetration into this defense.
That really was a crazy call. I do not understand that at all.
You put him under center, you put Shadou under center, and you get 2 tight ends in there, and you go heavy on this thing. And you put in the biggest running back that we have, which is Dallin Hayden. Actually, no, it's not. It's Isaiah Augustave.
Yeah.
Is the biggest running back we have. He's 235 pounds. And you go for that. You put heavy in, you put a jumbo package in, and you do that. There was no jumbo in that. There was 0 jumbo. And we went with the smallest running back we had. How in the heck is that the running back's fault? Somebody tell me. Get in the comments and tell me this is a coaching issue.
The previous play, you had a fumbled snap and he still recovered it and got a half yard out of it. You only needed a half yard. Why not just run another quarterback sneak up the middle? You're probably going to get a yard. Like the previous play only got a half yard because things went wrong, but that's not likely to happen. I don't know. I think that's just getting too cute, jumping back into shotgun formation and handed it off to your smallest running back or one of your smaller running backs. I'm not seeing that play call there. That was not a good one. Let's see if we can score on this drive. Here's a run play, baby. And look what happens. Look at that. Yes. Okay. Let's
BKC says, what a game. You guys are the best. See y'all next week.
See you, BKC. You watching this play right now, Chris?
I'm not. I'm still on commercial. But I'm assuming we ran the ball and we got
first down, run play to Dallin Hayden, and he got a good chunk of yardage. And Nebraska looked like they were not expecting it at all.
Yeah, well, they're basically they're not in prevent, but they're close, man.
Yeah,
they're going to make it soft underneath for us, just trying to keep us from burning them deep.
Yeah.
Trevor Woods did not get hurt. He got ejected for targeting. Miss Peggy is not going to like this. No, Miss Peggy's got a lot of pull. She may be I may have to call Miss Peggy and ask her to see if we can get the offense restructured here.
What is the eligibility of Dallin Hayden? We're going to have him for a couple more years. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I feel like you maybe could even build your offense around that guy.
Yeah, but Dallin Hayden's not going to stay at Colorado if we're not running the ball.
Well, that's very true.
Yeah. He will absolutely 100% flip out of here if we can't figure out how to use him in a better way.
Yeah.
Why do they? So, yes. I don't know. I guess I got to read these comments before I put them up.
Yeah, it was a great play. That's an incredible play right there. Sanders to Hunter. There we go. Ooh. They're gonna flag. They're gonna flag Nebraska for hitting Shadur late.
Finally.
And Shadur's a little slow to get up.
Was it a targeting type of hit?
No, I think he was on the ground. It was just kind of like a dog pile while he was on the ground. Yeah, Shadur's coming out of the game. He's calling for the trainer. I think he got hit in the head.
Oh, yeah, I just saw it. Oh, no. Concussion protocol, maybe?
Maybe.
Oh, no. Oh, good grief.
It could have been worse. Yeah, that Nebraska player's right shoulder hit him right in the head.
So it wasn't targeting.
And a little bit of his face mask, too. I don't think they'll call it targeting. He's back up. He's back in with his helmet on. I think they're okay.
Wow. Yeah. So this is where I say that I love Shadur for doing this, for trying to get those extra yards and everything. But these Nebraska guys are not going to give him an inch. They're gonna try to take him out. If he exposes himself like that, I almost think they're going to take one for the team.
Yeah.
And just try to get Shadur out of this game. That I don't like that at all.
It was mainly his shoulder that hit him, but you can see his head pop back and they're reviewing it for targeting, so we'll see.
Yeah, it said, yeah, I saw that.
I'll be kind of surprised if they call that targeting. I think it's just a straight personal foul.
Crown of the helmet. It was a crown of the helmet, man. Yeah, it's crown of the helmet. I think they're going to make an example out of him.
Do you?
On a quarterback? Yeah, I think this is one of those. This is one of those. If it's going to swing either way, they're going to make. And Shadur being, a very high value target from that standpoint, they're going to make an example out of him.
Well,
even though I mean,
spoiler alert, you're 100% right. You are 100% right. That's exactly what happens. Here's pistol formation. Woo! Boy, how good of a player is Horn? Kid's quick.
It's possible that Horn could be a first round.
He's kind of small,
He is, but I mean, dang, look at all of the small receivers in. I mean, how big is Edelman?
Well, I agree, but also look at touchdown Colorado. Also look at where they were drafted. Like those small receivers, some of them do well, but almost none of them are drafted in the first round.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think Horn may be a sophomore.
Wester. Well, it looks good for Colorado to have a 10 on the board.
Yeah. Our looks can be deceiving, though.
Sure. Down 18, I still say you're going to have like a pick six or a scoop and score, or somebody turn it over inside the 15 or something like that.
How many yards rushing do we have right now, Greg?
Well, you had that 17-yard run by Hayden. The net yards right now is exactly 0, but that's because you got a negative 30 on Shedeur for sacks, for all the sacks. So that would make it 30 yards for the running backs. 26 for Hayden and 4 for Offerdahl. Hayden and Offerdahl have had 4 carries each. You looking through these comments?
I am, yeah. Most of these comments now, everybody's off the rails, man. I understand. I understand, but keep in mind, guys, this is one game. Last year, we lost. We lost a lot of games last year. In fact, we lost basically the back end of the entire season. We lost. So this is just the fact that it is the second game of the season and against Nebraska. This one's going to hurt a little bit, but it's going to be okay because we've got CSU next week. And even though it's not at home, I do believe we can handle CSU. And I didn't even see how they played today. I got to look that up. How did CSU do today? Because I was interested in all right, so they won 38-17 over the Northern Colorado Bears. And the bad thing about it is I put money on the money line for the Bears to win too.
Did you really?
Darn. Yeah. My whole betting, I went for big time. I looked for anything that had like stupid odds.
Yeah.
And I bet on it. The only one I didn't do was the Michigan, or not Michigan, the Notre Dame NIU game. Man, I bet you that paid off well. Holy mackerel. Can you imagine how that paid off? I got to look that up at some point. But the Northern Colorado Bears if you guys are going to be surprised by this, they're 0-2 right now. That's right. The Northern Colorado Bears are 0-2. Colorado Rams are 1-1, and University of Colorado 1-1. So we have a matching win-loss total going into the game. So at least we have that. And it's the game, Michael.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's the second game of the year.
It's the second. All right. So is it the game? Yeah. Now, guys, Michael, are you a lifelong Buff fan? I want to know this. Okay. And you may be, and that's fine. But coming from a lifelong Buff fan and myself here, okay, I hate losing to Nebraska, but we've lost to Nebraska before. When we would lose to Nebraska and Nebraska was in our division, that was a much bigger loss than them being out of conference. A way bigger. Because then you lose twice. You lose because it's Nebraska, and you lose because you just lost to one of your conference foes. But they're not now. They're gone. They're done. They're out of here. We don't see them for a while. I mean, at this point, I'm not ready to throw away the entire season over one game. Is your basing our relevance on CSU you're delusional? I don't think I am.
Okay.
Man.
Never mind. There we go. Defense is playing well, at least. How about the defense pitching a shutout in the second half? Seven minutes and 20 seconds left. 3rd and 11 for Nebraska. I mean, this is looking like Colorado get it back. Oh.
All right, the score here again, we got 17-28, right? With 7:42 left.
Okay, big play for Nebraska, but there is a flag on the play. So let's see what this flag is. Michael, I hope you're okay, buddy. I'm worried about you. Okay, what's the penalty here?
Is that an offensive hold?
I don't know. I'm waiting for a down and distance to come up. Third and 12. Yeah, so it was on Nebraska. I'm telling you, defense, there's a positive to take away from this. The defense has come out in the second half in a game that looks like it's already decided, and they have decided that they're going to long pass play. Ooh, interception. Oh, okay, no. All right. Hey, defense holds.
So at this point, that's us trying to get better for the next game.
Right.
So we can't give up in this game. There's not a good chance we're going to come back, but at the same time, we can learn some things from this.
Great pass breakup by McKinney there. Good pressure on the quarterback. I mean, and it's not like Nebraska's just lining up and handing it off up the middle 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Here, they're still trying to move the ball downfield. Oh, I missed the flag. They flagged them for roughing the passer.
Yes, Eric, you were very welcome, man. I don't go live very often, and I don't have a moderator yet, even though I have a couple of guys that have reached out to me that want to be one. But this is the first time I've really had a heckler. Do you remember a heckler before this, Greg? A really bad one?
No.
I couldn't get off of his comments either. I don't know what the deal was, man. It was like every other comment was him.
The teacher in me was wanting to point out he's got to work on some grammar and spelling a little bit too, but but I decided that might be a little bit petty for me to start talking about that. So yeah, there's gonna be trolls. It's a sign that it's because you've got an audience. It's because we've got some people in here and they want to pretend to be important. 1st and 15, second down. God, that roughing the passer call, that was
Yeah, forgive the little bit of pause in me right now, but I'm trying to.
Hey, it's all good. You're doing too many things at once, aren't you?
No, I'm trying to decide what the wrap up of this game is going to look like.
I think you should let I think you should let your feisty wife be the moderator.
Oh yeah, she wouldn't block him though. She would just
She'll
go
bring
after
the
him.
hammer.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, I think that at this point, it's hard not to have a wrap up where you don't talk about everything you talked about in the pregame show,
Right.
as not being done in the game, which I guess is your postgame show, which is this is the way we talked about it should have gone, and it didn't go that way.
Yeah.
Right. So you have that postgame show.
Right.
But then you look back to last year, and it's every pregame and postgame show for the last 7 games.
Yeah.
And you wonder to yourself, what is it going to take for us to decide that we have to do something different? What is the catalyst? Is the loss against Nebraska and the impending firestorm that's coming, is that going to be it? Probably not, because really, the University of Colorado and Coach Prime does a really good job of just kind of wading through all that, negativity. So I don't think that that's going to be it. So maybe it is internal to the University of Colorado, the pressure from the internal part of it saying, hey guys, can we do something different? Is there anything that's in our bag that we haven't pulled out yet? Maybe we ought to give a different look, or maybe a different personnel set. Maybe we ought to completely change up what we're thinking from a scheme standpoint.
Yeah.
And then maybe the University of Colorado comes back and says, oh, don't worry about it. It was Nebraska. They're a Big Ten team. We're not really going to play another one of those this year. We're playing Big 12 teams. They're a little bit different. So I think that our scheme will work against our in-conference rivals. Does this make sense, or am I stammering at this point?
No, I think
I'm trying to figure this out.
The style that you're going to face most weeks in the Big 12 is not the same as what Nebraska's running out there. So that does give you some ideas that maybe Colorado is geared a little bit better for some conference play. And that's not just speculation. I think there's probably some truth to that. We haven't talked about it. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say they were just flashing that Dante Dowdle. He's had a good game for Nebraska. Tip of the hat to him. They're running back. He's been.
What did he have? What is his? Do you have the stats up? You can see what his
up real quick,
his average yards per carry. His average yards per carry in last week's game against UTEP was like 9.8.
He's got 16 carries for 67 yards. So that's about 4, isn't it?
Yeah, I would think he would. I thought he'd be better than that.
Well, touchdown Nebraska, but there is a flag on the play. And the crowd isn't going crazy, so I think flag's on Nebraska. Maybe that's why that guy was so open. Holding on Nebraska.
Yeah, the post-game interview with Coach Prime. I'm going to call it. I'm going to call that post-game interview with Coach Prime is going to be the most watched post-game interview of the year of any coach. And I'm going to write that stat down somewhere. I'm going to write that down. I think it's going to be the most watched post-game interview of any coach. I don't know, man. That Notre Dame loss. What's Notre Dame's coach again? I can't remember his name. It's Freeman.
Right.
Is it Freeman? Yeah.
That young guy.
That one might actually beat it. But Freeman isn't as animated as Coach Prime is.
Boy, that was a good job by who's number 20 on defense? Hewitt? No.
No, it's Bentley.
Bentley. Boy, that's a good play by Bentley coming up here at snap on about 5 minutes and 25 seconds or so.
I think that Bentley could possibly be one of our best defensive players.
Yeah. Watch him get off
actually, I think Bentley is one of our best defensive players, if not the best defensive player we have.
We got another targeting call coming up. I don't know, man. No, that's not targeting. They're going to review that, and he crouched, but the crown of his helmet never even touched the defensive player or the ball carrier. So it was just a shoulder. You'll see it.
Yeah, but I saw it in real time.
I was just commenting on how Bentley is really the one who made the play there, and Bentley was, by all rights, he should have been blocked out of that play. He completely defeated that block and got over there and made the play. If there's one positive you can take away from this game, it's that I love the way that the defense came out and said that they were gonna. They dialed up the intensity in the second half. I love seeing that. I love that they didn't give up.
That was a very good stop by McKinney.
Yes. Yeah.
I would have rather seen him wrap up a little bit more on that. I would have rather seen him wrap up a little bit more on that instead of just giving him a shoulder, because those running backs have been bouncing off of us all night long.
Yeah.
So to get at least one arm around him to keep him from spinning off or something like that. Now, granted, they were low, so he probably wouldn't have done that. But and I understand that form tackling is kind of out of vogue right now.
4th down. Another hold by the defense. Yeah, Nebraska's frustrated. I tell you what. I mean, they're going to win this game, but I loved what the defense came out and showed in the second half here.
So what we're going to do is, normally I end the broadcast and then I do a post game.
Yeah.
But I think probably, if you don't mind sticking on, I think we're just going to continue this broadcast and do a post game.
Yeah, let's do it.
And just, we can wrap this up in like 10 minutes, probably on a post game. But if you'll pull up the stats so we have them ready so that we can look and see what the number one, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? The number one key to this game that I had was time of possession, which is we need to control the clock and do what we have to do in order to make sure that when we walk out of here, we walk out with a greater time of possession against Nebraska. We got to keep it out of Riola's hands. We got to wear down the Nebraska defense, and as much as you can, wear those guys down. And then get a run game going and use that to support the pass and that kind of thing. So we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. As soon as the game ends, or probably we'll start a little bit early because I think the game is, for the most part, ended.
For sure. Let's see what Colorado does on this drive here. It's 4 minutes left. God, another flag. It's getting ugly.
Yeah, so Midnight Gardener, you're correct. I am going to pick and choose the comments because when you say stupid crap, I'm not gonna choose you. So you can come on this show and you can pretend like you're involved, but you're not. You're just a freaking troll. Go away.
Don't feed the troll. Oh,
yeah, New Orleans, you're exactly right. If you want to come in and have a pragmatic conversation about football, we are all on board, man. If you want to say some negative things about Deion Sanders and you want to back it up with whatever you want to back it up with, I'm okay. But to say Deion sucks, I'm not going to put that comment up here. You suck. Go away. Obviously, you don't know football very well, and you're just trying to pick on things. So go away. At the end of the season, let's talk.
I got goosebumps. My nipples are hard right now, buddy. I love it when you talk that way. What?
What did you get yelled at for?
Apparently that comment was inappropriate, so I apologize.
Oh. Was that okay? I missed the comment, so.
Oh, I said after you talked that troll down, I said I've got goosebumps and my nipples are a little bit hard.
New Orleans, no man. I didn't say that about you. I said you are the guy. When I put that comment up here, where I said it'd be the people without a profile picture, I meant yes, we got you on our side. It's those other guys. It was. I'm not even going to say their names, but yeah, you're one of the good guys. We appreciate you being here.
Let's see. Yeah, no, time of possession. You're right. Nebraska they're going to end up with winning the time of possession.
Nebraska will.
A lot of the stats are more even than you might think. The big glaring difference is the rushing yards. In terms of passing, Colorado's been a little better than Nebraska, and in terms of total yards, it's not all that different. The glaring discrepancy is in rushing attempts, rushing yards.
So what did Nebraska have?
32 rushing attempts for 145 yards.
Okay, so they had almost 150 yards. Okay. Yeah. 32. That's the magic number. That's the number I was wishing we were going to be at. I said 32, 150 is what I was asking for. If we could hit either one of those two things, we would win the game. That was my pregame. Okay. Right. So Nebraska did exactly what I talked about in the pregame. Now their defense did a heck of a lot more. So let's look at this. So Rad ZX10, which by the way, if you've got a ZX10 Rad, good for you, man. I want a ZX10. I've got a ZX7, a 2000 ZX7 that I'm rebuilding right now, but I want a ZX10. I'm assuming you're meaning the motorcycle. He said, I believe we're at 6 for the season. How many do we have? 6 in this game, sacks? Or do we get sacked 6 times?
I can look back up real quick, but yeah, I believe
Nebraska 6 sacks, and we had 1 or 2 in the last game, so we're probably at 8 sacks now. We're at 7 or 8 sacks for the season.
Well, ESPN's reporting 5. So
okay, so maybe we have 6 or 7 for the season. I can't remember. I think Shadur was only sacked maybe once last game. Logic's Finest says, I'm so disappointed. I'm glad you're back, by the way, Logic's Finest. You did come back. NDSU has a simple. Yes. NDSU has a simple has a simple offense, but the DC wasn't properly prepared. What a disappointment. Nebraska was a simple offense, but the DC in man coverage, no planning. So they were in man coverage. From what I saw, they were in man coverage almost all night. And we were in man coverage on almost every play in the NDSU game as well. We're having a problem playing zone and defense for some reason, it seems like. Rad ZX10 says Shallow has a broken arm right. That's what we're hearing. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what we're hearing. And also Chidoze went out. He was in the tent for a little while. I don't know what happened to him as well. We will never win the time of possession because for some reason we don't use Welch and attempt the run. Yeah, that's true. I would have liked to have seen Welch and Brandon in here. Oh, Staub's in there now.
Yeah, Staub's in.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
He's been looking okay.
We conceded the win.
Okay, that was a bad pass, but he's looked okay on this drive, and Colorado's driven down the field.
Yeah, I mean, but keep in mind too that I'm a Staub guy. I love Staub. I think Staub's great. If he had If he was on another team where he had an opportunity to be the head guy, he's nowhere near Sanders. There's no way I would put him in front of Sanders. But if he were to play for, let's say, San Diego State or Northern Iowa Polytechnical or something like that, he would get the reps that he needs in order to become a really good quarterback. But he doesn't get those here because he's not better than Shedeur.
He's got good instincts, and I tell you what, he's deceptively fast running.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's fooling some of these defenders. They don't expect him to get by him. And he has I've seen twice now where he's felt pressure behind him and picked exactly the right time to get out of there. That should have been pass interference, but they didn't flag it.
So having Shedeur, the comment up on there now is having Shedeur as good as he is a blessing and a curse, or is a gift and a curse.
That's an interesting debate right there. I mean, I guess so, but every team in college football would probably rather have him than not have him.
So Logic's Finest says the standard is the standard, but you have to look in the mirror and grow up and adapt. Prime, the OC, and the DC have to change their game prep, and Prime has to stop with the favoritism. So the reason why I'm leaving that comment up there, favoritism is a trigger word in Colorado. And the reason why obviously is because you've got Prime's sons playing for the team. And then you've got Travis, who, a lot of people say, there's some favoritism there. But when you look at it from a 30,000 foot view, if it were anybody else that were running this team and Coach Prime was not in here, Shiloh is our best safety. I think that Shedeur obviously is our best quarterback, and Travis is our best corner and our best receiver. So it wouldn't change. I mean, when you're talking about favoritism, you run your best players, it's the A team. You put your A team out there, and those are our A team. So those guys are going to be out there and they're going to have the ball more than not. Now, look in the mirror and adapt. I do agree with. I do agree with the fact that if the same thing is not working, and we're going to take NDSU out of this because it worked against NDSU. They had the time of possession. Did you know they had almost 40 minutes to our 21 in that game, and we won it. We won it. But it was because we just had superior talent.
Yeah.
But now we're getting into the thick of it where we're going up against teams that also have superior talent.
Yeah.
And that time of possession means a lot more in those games.
Yeah.
If they have the ball longer, that means they can control us. It doesn't mean they're going to score more points because they score the same amount of points in one drive, right? They have the ball for 10 minutes. They score 7 points. They have the ball for 2 minutes. They score 7 points.
Yeah.
What's the difference in those two scenarios?
Yeah.
If we have the ball for 8 minutes in one of those scenarios. So they just keep the ball away from us for 8 minutes, but they still score a touchdown. And so for people who argue time of possession doesn't really mean anything, it means everything in football. I mean, the game's only 60 minutes long. And if you control 40 of those 60 minutes, you control the game.
Well, we're going to have to eat our words a little bit. There's a 4th and 1, and they lined up in shotgun, handed it off to the running back, and it worked perfectly that time.
Yeah, but why did it work perfectly?
Well, it could be because, all right, following play, they're arguing that it was a turnover. I think it's an incomplete pass, but.
Okay, so they were running a 3-man front on a 4th and 1.
Right.
Who runs a 3-man front on a 4th and 1?
Yeah.
A team that's up by 28 points or 25 points or whatever it is.
Okay.
So, of course, we got the first down there. We should have run for 15 yards on that. So to only get 2?
Yeah, they only got 2. The nose tackle got over quick, but I think Staub's about to turn the ball over. I thought it was a forward pass, but I don't think he got it out of his hand. And Nebraska's going to recover.
Okay. Well, that's the end of the game effectively at that point.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
All right. So now it is officially the post-game show. So do you have the stats up by chance, Greg?
I do.
I'm going to do a couple of comments while you're pulling them up. Board says Shador's holding the ball too long. The stretch run play worked. I think the defense worked well, or I think the defense played well. Take away the interception and the fluke TD at the end of the first half.
It's a great point. 6 of the, or 7 of Nebraska's points were a pick 6. And, I hate to call anything a fluke, but it's not hard to squint your eyes a little bit here and see that the defense effectively gave up 14 points in this game.
Right. No, I agree.
That's pretty dang good.
I agree. I don't think that the defense was terrible in this game. I think that we could have been better. I think there were some mistakes, obviously, that we made. There were some penalties that cost us significantly. Sure. And there were very similar penalties that cost us in the first game and very similar penalties that cost us in several games last year. So we have got to get the discipline under control there. But outside of that, I thought they handled the run pretty well from the interior part of it. But when they got it out on the sides, we didn't have contain at all.
Yeah.
I absolutely want this team to succeed, but the coaches make it hard. I was waiting to throw it in the faces of Nebraska fans, but now I have to eat crow, says Logic's Finest.
That's college sports for you right there.
So Keep It 100 says, I wish the tight end Mikey would have stayed. So Keep It 100, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it was Micah. I don't think it was Micah. I'm sorry. I don't think it was Michael that made it for us last year. I think it was the tight end position that made it for us last year. Michael Harrison, really, he wasn't even one of the best receivers that we had, and that's why they turned him into a tight end, because that was his next best opportunity to start. And we just happened to want to put the tight end in, and we just happened to throw it to the tight end, and Michael had great hands. So we actually made the tight end work. This year, I think we have better tight ends. I mean, Sam Hart is an actual tight end. Yeah. We have a couple of guys that were moved to tight end that have been shown great promise and have good size and have good hands. So we could get more out of them than we even did out of Michael Harrison last year, but we haven't used them. We have not used the tight end. Why have we not used the tight end? That's the question. Someone needs to ask this in the presser. If I was in the press room right now, that would be my question is, where is the tight end in this offense? What are we doing with the tight end? Is that ever going to be something that we use? And I think the answer would probably be something along the lines of what we've heard before, which is when you have world-class wide receivers like this, what do you need a tight end for? How would you answer that question?
Oh, I've got a great answer to that question. It makes the entire defense have to think about additional things. You may have the greatest set of wide receivers in the world. They will benefit greatly if there's a threat of somebody getting behind those linebackers and getting a little 8-yard pass every 6 or 8 plays. I mean, yeah, absolutely. But we talked about it earlier, and I think you brought some of this up, that Nebraska's defense really didn't have to worry much about anything other than passes to wide receivers. And when you take all that stuff off of their plate, you're going to get the results that we saw with them probably not being nearly as good a defense as they look tonight, because I feel like we somewhat made it easier for them. And tight end is a big part of that. Running back's a big part of that. Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's the answer on what you're talking about there, at least from my chair.
All right, let's go down the stats now. Do you have the stats up there?
I do.
Comparative? Okay.
Yeah. What do you want to hear first?
Let's do how much yardage total did our defense give up against Nebraska?
334 is what Nebraska got.
That's total?
Total yardage.
Wow.
I know.
So you're right. So yeah, that defense did do well. I mean, I was thinking it probably would be closer to 450.
Yeah, no.
But we held Nebraska, the Raiola offense, we held them to less than 350 yards.
Right.
How much do you have Dylan Raiola's passing yards?
Yeah, I sure do. Dylan passed for 185. 185 and 1 touchdown. Now, he was efficient. He went 23 for 30. But, I mean, 185, that's not even going to be in the top 25 of quarterbacks this week. So he had a good game. But part of it was the game plan, too. In the second half, Nebraska ran the ball a lot more. So that's part of that.
And Nebraska had 150 yards rushing, right? Ish, 145?
Yeah, let me see what they ended up with. 149. So, yeah, 150.
Okay, so my prediction is that our defense was going to hold them to less than 200 yards rushing.
Yeah.
So that came to fruition. Right. I also talked about the fact that Raiola was not going to carry it on his back and pass for 300 something yards because he didn't do it in the first game. And he did pass for almost 300 yards. He passed for 283 yards, if I can remember correctly. But that was against UTEP. So I thought, okay, well, let's bring that down a little bit because against our defense, he's not going to do that. So I was thinking it was going to be a little over 2, but we ended up holding him to less than that. So I think overall, outside of penalties and things like that, I think our defense did pretty good. It's just that our offense just sputtered. Their defense was just a killer. So what other stat do you think? What was Shadur's ending passing yardage?
Shadur ended up with 244 yards.
Wow.
So a good 60 yards more than Raiola. And his efficiency was good, not quite as good. He was 23 of 38. The interception is the big highlight. And that leads me into the answer for what you're asking there. And I know that this gets talked about too much, and people talk about how this always, but penalties and turnovers determine the game. And really, I think this game was determined by penalties and turnovers. The 2 turnovers that Colorado had versus none by Nebraska, and then the targeting side, that one drive. Remember, right before the half. Mm-hmm. Where the majority of the drive was personal foul and then a targeting penalty. Those 2 drives right there stand out. Take away those 14 points, and the final score is 10-14. Now, I know you can't do that, and you could argue, well, they would have had a different game plan if the score was close like that. But it's not hard to see that the score is a little bit misleading. I think the game was a bit closer than what the score indicates, to be honest with you. Pick sixes always make things look weird.
No, I totally agree. I'm looking for, while we're talking about this, Coach Prime's presser should be coming up here really quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So hang on just a second because I may be able to pull it up.
Let's see. Dowdle, of course, was their leading rusher. He rushed for 74, so he did a good job. But Dallin Hayden had a long of 17. Dowdle did not have any runs that long. Dallin Hayden ended up having 5 carries for 32 yards. So there's a little glimmer there. Now, he did look a little bit hobbled at the end of the game. Did you see him limping off the field?
I did, yeah.
So we'll have to see
what's going on with that, but. Yeah, we're going to end this day with like 3 to 4 players that are going to be in bad shape.
Well, hopefully it's nothing serious. He looks really good. He looks like a player that you could build an offense around maybe next year. He's very talented, clearly. Good burst, and whenever he falls forward every time, defender hits him and he bounces off and gets another half yard forward. I love what I see out of that kid.
All right. So what we're going to do, guys, is Coach Prime should be in a presser here any minute. And if we can, Greg, are you okay right now to stay on?
Oh yeah.
Or do you need to bounce off? Okay.
No, always, man.
So I'm reviewing. I'm watching right now to make sure that when it does come up, I'm going to try to pop it up here so that we can all watch it.
Okay.
And kind of comment about it. But I would imagine that this is going to be every Coach Prime presser is impressive, and it's fun to watch. It's must see TV, especially when you have media. And keep in mind, this is Nebraska that's going to be controlling the media in this one. No, I take that back. So we will still be controlling the media in this one because it's going to be Coach Prime's presser at Nebraska. But there's going to be some people in the media there that are probably going to just jump all over this, and Coach Prime is not going to have it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be super fun to watch.
Hey, let me ask you this: which team was more penalized?
I think Nebraska was more penalized.
Okay, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, 9 penalties, 104 yards. That's way too much. Nebraska, 12 penalties for 105 yards. So almost identical.
Wow.
And both of them, it was an ugly game, but both of them had way too many penalties. I guarantee you both teams are not going to be happy about that. With Colorado, the play that the penalties that stood out, of course, are the ones right before halftime when we felt like we had them about ready to go inside at 21-0.
Yep.
Or 21-3. No, 21-0. Yeah.
Yep. I completely agree. Not yet, but it should be coming up here any second, guys. The post game press conference with Coach Prime should be coming up here any minute. I am watching for it.
Looking at some other good stats. How many yards do you think Travis Hunter had?
Let's see. Travis Hunter receiving had this is a hard one, man. I'm gonna say 80 yards.
Man, you're good. You're pretty good. He actually had a little more. He had 110.
Oh, wow.
Game. I know.
Well, that's good. Yeah, 100-yard game for Travis Hunter. That's great.
And he had
talking about a nice thing to come out of this whole thing.
Absolutely. Shepard had 59. Jimmy Horn had 26. And I'll tell you what, Dallin Hayden, 2 receptions for 27 yards. Nebraska was not prepared for that. They were not prepared for him to be thrown to.
You know, NDSU, that's a great point. NDSU was not either. I told you they were 3 for 3 on that halfback, halfback pass last week. And they had more yards in those 3 than they did in the entire running game.
Yeah.
And so here we go again with the same exact thing for Nebraska. One of the coaches needs to stand up there. Michael Pollock, if you're listening to this, he's one of our offensive guys. Let's latch on to that halfback pass. It doesn't seem to be able to be defended based on the fact that everybody's running downfield with our premium receivers.
Right.
And that might actually be a thing for us. Charlie did really well last week with it, and so did Dallin.
Yeah. And again, it's just one more thing the defense has to think about. One more thing they got to have in their mind, and they got to plan for.
Yep, absolutely. What other stat do you have?
Well, let's look at some defensive stats. Who do you think led Colorado in tackles? And I'm going to give you a hint.
I think I already know.
Oh, do you? Because the person who leads is far and away has had the most tackles in the game.
I think it was Levante Bentley.
Bentley is 4th. Believe it or
not.
I know, and he played really well.
Who was
Silman
it?
Craig.
Really? Yeah. That's right.
11 solo tackles and 3 tackles for loss. That is a heck of a game.
Yeah, and he's. I say that Shiloh is our best safety, but Silman Craig, as far as defensive backs go, Silman Craig's got to be. I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna say that he's our best.
Well, he sure had a whale of a game this time. DJ McKinney also had a really, really good game. He had a tackle for loss, and he had 8 total tackles. So I'm telling you, I love some of what I saw from the defense. Travis Hunter, 3 tackles. See, you think his future in the NFL is as a receiver or as a defensive back?
Defensive back.
I do too.
I think he's going to have a very similar, if not identical, career to Coach Prime.
Yeah.
I think he's going to, or Deion Sanders, I guess back then, he's going to be a defensive back, and then he's going to be put on offense for key plays.
Yeah.
And I think he plays for multiple teams, and I think he wins multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He's hoping, I don't know that I actually physically saw him say this, but the media is saying that he has talked about the fact that he wants to be drafted by Denver.
Oh, wow.
And stay in Colorado, which would be really freaking cool.
Yeah.
I want to get him sponsored by Nitro Bass Boats, because Coach Prime just got sponsored by Bass Cat. So that would be a really good rivalry between the two of them. So I'm going to work on that. I've been working on that for about the past year, and I'm going to continue to work on that. See if I can get Nitro to look at him.
Working magic.
Yes. Well, I don't know about magic, but yeah. By the way, I don't know if you looked at the TV or not, but Oregon is losing to Boise State right now with 2 minutes left in the second quarter.
Ooh, are we going to get what was that? Last time Boise State beat Oregon, we had that big fight at the end of it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And who was the running back for Oregon that just popped that guy and knocked him out?
I don't remember, but it was good.
Oh, man. I got to look it up. That's going to drive me crazy.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. All right, let me refresh this real quick and see if Coach Prime
LeGarrette
Blunt does not sound familiar.
I remember that so well. I wish I could share the video on your screen. That was pretty funny when he lost his temper and hauled off and popped that guy. And oh, LeGarrette Blunt. God, it was kind of a sucker punch too.
Yep, I don't see Coach Prime in here yet, but we will.
Okay.
What other defensive stats do you have?
Let's see. Anything interesting here? I mean, total tackles. Colorado was on defense more, but we had 7 tackles for loss to Nebraska's 10. So that's fairly even as well.
Yeah, that's even. Here's a question. Did we sack Real at all? I think we sacked him one time.
I'm showing 0 sacks, but there was one play at least that I know of where he dropped back to pass and then he flushed around and they got him for a loss. And I remember saying that's either a sack or a tackle for loss, and they may have scored it as a tackle for loss. But he initially dropped back for a pass, so you could have called it a sack. I know they tackled him for a loss a couple of times.
Okay. All right.
Real, it says he had 3 carries for 7 yards.
Yeah, so we said Riola isn't going to catch the ball or isn't going to run the ball, and I had a couple of Nebraska fans that jumped in there and said he hasn't had to run the ball. Of course he can run the ball, but he hasn't had to run the ball because their offensive line is so good. And that's, I just put in there, we'll see. Well, sure enough, I mean, he didn't have negative yards. I think Shedeur had negative yards.
He did. Yeah.
But he only had 7 yards, so it's not like he was running like, North Dakota State's quarterbacks are running.
Yeah.
So to say that he can run, we still don't know that he can run, but he beat us. So I guess there's that. But I want to say, I am proud of our defense.
Yeah.
There are some things that we need to fix with that. But overall, if we could continue to do this and not lose 2 of our best players in the early part of the game,
right?
We can stick in there with. We can beat Baylor. We can stick in there with Kansas State probably and go battle back and forth, even though Kansas State's really good. Kansas State's better than Nebraska is.
Yeah.
But I still think, that we could hang in there with them. Donnell Prince said 1 tight end catch. So they're looking at that stat too.
Yep.
They're
One
looking
pass
into
to
that stat
develop
too.
balls for 2 yards. That's something that's got to get better.
So if you're in the tight end room, let's just say you're Sam Hart. Okay, Sam Hart came to us from OSU, from Ohio State, and he leaves Ohio State as a very highly regarded 4-star and comes to the University of Colorado to be the featured tight end. And then in the first 2 games, we don't feature the tight end. What conversations are you having with your tight ends coach?
Is it a play calling problem? Is it a Shadur problem? Is it planned ahead of the game? Did they just plan it that way and say, look, we're not going to try to throw the tight end against this team. We're going to try to do it this. I don't know. Like those are all valid questions that I wish I knew the answer to. But it's something that's just got to improve. It's got to get better.
Yeah, I think that I would basically be saying something, and is it Shador? I don't know if it's Shador as much as we're not in that formation. We're not putting the tight end in the game very often. I can't wait. I'm off tomorrow actually, and I'm going to be basically reviewing this game. I'm going to go through and I'm going to look at every single play again, and I want to look at the formations we're at on offense and see how much actual change we made from the first quarter to the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and see what exact changes we made. And then come up with a game plan for CSU, which is going to be an easier team than Nebraska, but just as dangerous because they were dangerous last year. And they also have been prone to playing dirty. So the last thing we need with now Shiloh out is to have somebody else go out too. So, and this is going to be a week of media, man. Like it's going to be crazy this week.
That's coming.
With Norvell. He hasn't said much lately because I think he finally realized that he shouldn't be talking very much. And some of the talking heads at CSU probably said, "Hey, shut up. We don't need this in the press right now."
Hey, I got to ask that commenter up there. Are we going for the Themistocles, the Athenian general here, or are we going for Damocles, as in the Damoclean sword? Do you know
I
what
didn't
I'm
see
talking
that
about?
comment.
It was just highlighted. He's got Themistocles as his name, but it starts with a D. So
I was looking at. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. We'll see if he answers. There it is. Themistocles. Okay. I thought so. Okay. Themistocles. Awesome. All right. It's not every day that you see a reference to an Athenian general in a football chat. Love it.
It's fishy we got so many dogs, but they never got put in the game. Yeah, we didn't switch a lot of players out this game.
Coach, yeah, well, it's a tough loss to take, but I mean, there are some things to look at. There's some positives to see, and there's some things to grow from. In particular, the defense. I love what we saw out of the defense. I think they've got to look at this offense and make some hard decisions. Smalls should not be playing over Hart. It's hard to say. I mean, we didn't even see Hart, and we barely saw Smalls. I mean, I know that they've been doing well in practice, but we need to see it on the field.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think anybody's really seen a lot from the tight end, even in the well-off videos. So we really don't know. We haven't seen the tight end at all, just like Greg said. But one of the things that a lot of people don't know is a lot of people know that Savell Smalls was changed from an edge to a tight end. But he played, I think I'm 100% positive. He played tight end 2 ways in college. So he played tight end and he played edge in high school.
Yeah.
So he granted it's high school, but he's a 5-star player coming out of high school. So obviously that tight end play had something to do with it. I say obviously. Kay, you mentioned Kansas is not better than Nebraska. If I said Kansas, I apologize. I meant Kansas State.
You said Kansas State. And I think you're right. I think if they were matched up head to head, I think I'd take K-State, but That'd be a fun game to watch. They don't play each other, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, really?
They do. And remember Dylan Edwards from last year?
Yes.
Yeah, our running back, the little tiny
sure?
running back that we had.
Schedule right now.
I thought they played Kansas State, bro.
God, that would be awesome. No, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they play Kansas State, bro.
That'd be a lot of fun. Maybe they can meet up in a bowl game or something.
Let's see. Yeah, Kansas State, they play October 12th.
Kansas State against Nebraska?
No.
Oh, I'm talking about
Nebraska. I'm talking us. No. I'm talking about us. I don't care about Nebraska, dude. They're done.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Nebraska after this evening. We're not talking about Nebraska again for probably 20 years.
I was just commenting. I think K-State would beat Nebraska.
K-State's good right now, but we play K-State, and Dylan Edwards is playing for K-State right now. So he had a decent game in the first game. I have not seen this game, obviously, but
now K-State barely beat Tulane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but Tulane might be better than people think. Yeah, they beat Tulane 34-27, and they had to score 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to pull it off. They were down at halftime.
So we have Terrell says play Tyler Johnson, bench Benson. And I think at this point, I think that's not a bad comment. I think that we basically at this point, man, I don't want to say start from scratch because there's some really positive things about our team right now.
It's too early to be talking about start from scratch.
Yeah, but flipping some of our players. Because a lot of people say this about Tyler Johnson too. I don't know if you know who Tyler Johnson is, but if I'm not mistaken, he came from Houston. But he's a monster. He's a really good player, but he had been playing a lot, and so a lot of people are calling for him to get put in just to see what our line can do with new players. Obviously, we practice, and our coaches. We have with Phil Lowholt, we have a good coach that knows how to review talent. So I don't know that he's wrong in obviously in who he chose to start and play for the most reps on the offensive line. But a change here and there probably wouldn't be bad for us to see if we could figure it out because I'm sorry, I've asked this like 10 times. 5 or 6 sacks? 5 today?
5 sacks officially.
Yeah, 5 sacks. Okay.
Yeah.
5 sacks, too many. And we go back, we need to look and see if Shedeur, last year I said it 1,000 times, and I'm going to stick to it, that Shedeur caused his own sacks probably more than the offensive line did in most cases. He held on to the ball way too long, could have got rid of it. We could have had more runs in those games in order to keep the ball quick out of Shedeur's hands and keep from getting hit so much. So, but the offensive line was not good last year. And this year, starting out, at least in this game anyway, doesn't look like it's a whole lot different from the standpoint of the protection of Shedeur. There's a lot of Charlie shouldn't start.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of people say that. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, of the 2 backs that I saw tonight, there's one. Dallin Hayden looked like the better back to me.
Yeah, he did. The stats don't show it all that much. The stats don't show that at all. It's the same as last game. If you would have put, I don't know, pick a back, put a back in there. You can pick any of our backs and put them in there. We just weren't running it enough to get a good feeling for it. I don't know that our offensive line. You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Why can't our offensive line is obviously individually each one of those players is a good player, right?
Yeah.
When you look at it, we got Jordan Seaton, who's the most phenom left tackle freshman out there right now. And a lot of our line has significant playing time at major universities. We have one of the best offensive line coaches in the country from the standpoint of just pedigree, right?
Right.
So what is the malfunction on the run?
So I think there's a twofold thing there. Offensive line is really unique in that you have to not just have good talent; they have to play as one unit. It's more important than any other unit on the field that they are in sync with each other and that there's good chemistry among those five. And that's one of those questions that's hard to know until you start getting into the season and seeing the results. The other thing is every single offensive lineman you ever talk to, they will always say they would rather run block than pass protect. Because run block is, you see that guy over there, go knock him on his butt, right? And offensive linemen are, I mean, that's what they love. When we run it so little and we run it inconsistently, I think it just makes it a little bit harder on that offensive line in general as well. Part of it from the defensive standpoint as well is that if they're not having to worry about a running back, then that puts a lot more pressure on those offensive linemen because everybody knows that they're in pass protection. It's kind of like every single play Colorado was running was a 3rd down and 20 play where you know that a pass is coming. And so the whole defense schemes for that. I think you even made the reference about, or sometime around halftime, about how it felt like they were just totally in a prevent defense. And it's true, it was. But all of those things put more pressure on that offensive line. And it's the second game of the season. We're still learning how well they play together and how well they know each other, what their chemistry is. There's room for a lot of growth there, but there's talent up and down the line, no doubt. That's a Phil Loldholt decision. He'll have to talk to those guys and he'll have to look at the tape and figure out who's not communicating right or what's not getting done. But some of it is just endemic to the system that we're running here too.
I agree. And I think a lot of it comes to practice too. When we're practicing, it's very possible that it was a very small portion of our practice because we're trying to get our routes down and find out who the best 4 are for our 4 wide that we're going to be going with receiver. And so the offensive line didn't get an opportunity to really get a lot of reps in that run game in fall.
Right.
So you get, like you said, you get into these games and you have an opportunity to do it a little bit more often in gel, but then we don't do it. And so we just keep going further and further into the year without understanding the run as a group with that offensive line. It starts to exacerbate. And when you get to the 5th, 6th game, like last year, it goes away completely. And we completely abandon it. And it's because we keep saying that the offensive line is trash, but I don't think that we give it an opportunity. We don't do the things that we need to do in order to establish the run. We have the pass down. When we get into practices this week, we need to figure this out. We need to figure out the run. If it's down to every single play as a run play against our defense, to make the offensive line almost handicap them in a way to make it harder on them, and allow the running backs to see the holes and trust the holes, and maybe even be able to bounce out and try to do something on their own. I just don't think that we're giving them that opportunity.
Yeah.
Let me check real quick and see if they have the presser up yet. Golly, man, this is like going on forever. Like usually
think they're having a lot of words in the locker room right now.
Maybe. I don't know. If I'm the coach of this team, it's probably a pretty quick conversation.
Yeah.
Which is everybody go take a shower. We're going to cool off and we're going to meet, on Monday and we're going to come up with a new game plan.
Yeah.
Everybody go jump in the shower and cool off, and then I need to go get my presser out of the way so I can get that done, because that's something he does not want to do. And then that way he can get on with his life, and let's get back on with some football, and let's talk about CSU, because I can tell you we cannot lose to CSU.
No,
I say that it's not a conference game, but holy mackerel.
I know.
If we lose to Nebraska and CSU in back-to-back weeks, it is going to be hard.
It's going to be a little crazy around Colorado for a while if that happens.
Yeah. So this is what we're going to do, guys. It doesn't look like that's going to be happening here anytime soon. And my headphones just ran out of juice. I lost one of them. I got one right now, but I know it ain't going to last all the way through the presser. So we'll let the presser happen. And then tomorrow I'll wrap up the presser a little bit, and we'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode. And I don't know if Greg can get back on tomorrow or not, but
maybe.
Either way.
Depends on what time. I got a softball game, but other than that, I could do it.
All right. So I'll get with you and we'll figure it out. Otherwise, I'll come on and we'll talk about the presser, and we'll get your feelings about the presser. Yep. And then it's on to CSU, because at that point I'm closing the book on, other than reviewing Nebraska and looking at plays and trying to figure out what we could do from a formation standpoint going into CSU. I think it's going to be CSU completely for the rest of this week for me anyway. So, Greg, thanks for being on today, man. That's a 3-hour and 20-minute broadcast.
Holy smokes. Are you serious?
Yeah, and we got the crap kicked out of us. So I'm feeling a little bit. I think I'm going to have one more beer before I go to bed and see if I can't put myself to sleep a little bit faster.
Highly recommend it.
All right. Well, hey, and everybody that's been on this live chat, I appreciate you very much too. I wasn't expecting to go live tonight, but with everything happening, I know we had to at least get a few things in today, and it ended up being longer than I thought. But you guys were really great in the comments, and I'm going to try to get it through a few more comments here before my headphones die.
Some of these comments I agree with a lot of what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. I mean, there might be some moving around that needs to happen.
Yeah, a lot of Charlie talk again. No running back with a cry emoji.
Yeah. Hayden showed me something in this game. I think there's reason to be optimistic about Hayden this year and hopefully next year as well.
Savion Washington. That's the second time I've seen Savion Washington's name put in there. So he was our big 6'9" right tackle. Or was he left tackle? I think he was right tackle last year. No depth on the O-line. We have some depth in the O-line. We just don't seem to be using it.
Well, you know how offensive line is. I mean, it depends on coaching philosophy. A lot of them want to leave the same 5 guys in there all the time. Some coaches want to rotate guys in and out all the time. I don't know what's best. I don't know what the right answer is, but you do see coaches do it a different way. I don't know, Coach Prime. I wonder what his feelings are on that, or if does he just turn the keys over to Phil Loadholt?
So Brian C is in here. Brian's an all-star commenter, and he puts, "It's not Offerdahl's fault." Oh my God, and I agree with Brian. Do I think that Offerdahl is our most dynamic back? I don't think he is, but I don't think it's Offerdahl, because if you look at numbers, he and Dallin Hayden have very similar numbers. Both of them shine on that halfback pass, and if we pulled that out a little bit more, I think you'd really see a lot there. But we're just not repping. We're not repping the runs enough in order to get any kind of push. There's no push off the offensive line. It's like they're in pass protection so much that when we go to a run protection, their legs don't work right. They just don't. They're almost like their bodies are confused about and then we don't do 3 run plays in a row. It's pass, run, pass, run. That's what it feels like anyway. And I can imagine it as an offensive lineman, it's hard to do it that way.
Yeah.
But let's see what other ones. I still got one headphone, so I'm gonna try to get the rest of these in. Someone please explain to me why the O-line struggled this much.
It's hard to think it's not enough reps. They had a full camp,
well,
right? Like
It's not enough reps. They had a full camp, right? Like
as soon as Todd came in, Hayden looked better. I didn't, and that's interesting. I'd like to go back and look at that. Of course, at that point, the game was kind of out of hand anyway.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, I think that is going to be a wrap for us, guys. Thanks for everybody that hung out here. And Greg, as always, man, you're a superstar for coming on. I didn't even ask you to come on tonight. You just jumped right on to go. And we're going to be doing probably a preview of CSU sometime this week if you're game. And then we'll have the game on Saturday, and we'll have some fun. So thanks a lot, Greg. That's a wrap from Alpine Garage Sports, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us for 3 hours and 26 minutes. And we will see you in the next video.